provide them. Those supplier lists show them suppliers that are capable of selling that product. So we really are there as a facilitator of business. We're trying to introduce customers to suppliers. And that's really a key part of our model there in driving these technologies through the supply chain. Want to also touch on some of our fabric innovations, because beyond technologies, we also do produce a lot of cotton fabric developments. These are developments that are inspired by the trends. We have a trend forecasting team that's out in the market looking at the trends that are coming 18 or 24 months in advance. They come back with that information and feed it to our product development team. And our product development team releases 2 collections of fabrics each year. These collections of fabrics contain both knits and wovens. They're obviously cotton or cotton rich, and they're meant to inspire the industry. And these fabrications are also available to you. We have an archive of about 7,000 fabrics inside of our fabric library. They're there as a resource for you. If it's something you're interested in, we can actually deliver that fabric to you, a sample and the ingredients to reproduce it. We focus on a lot of different types of collections. We're looking at performance. We're looking at sustainability. Here on the screen, you can just see a handful of some recent developments, looking at some new natural dyes that were actually derived from a cotton plant. So we took cotton stalks, cotton burrs, worked with our chroma to create a natural dye made from those elements. So if you think about a full circular natural story, dyeing cotton with a dye derived from cotton is really exciting. We've also worked on looking at synthetic fleece alternatives, and then looking at things like minimally processed goods. How can we maybe not apply a dye or a finish to a fabric? How can we minimally process it, still create an aesthetic or a fabric that would look appealing to the brands and retailers and also to consumers? Move on through, I do want to touch a little bit on sustainability and circularity, since those are still 2 challenges that we face and are getting a lot of challenge from both the brands and retailers and consumer. I mentioned previously, sustainability is a changing landscape. You know, we were looking at something of reducing our footprint in cotton over the years, but now we have so many more challenges within that. In Cotton Incorporated, we really have our hands in a lot of different elements. Most of the work that we conduct around sustainability is in the field. We are looking at new production methods. We're looking at production practices, and of course, always supporting programs like the United States Cotton Trust Protocol. We want to make sure that the United States cotton is the most responsibly produced cotton out there. We have a lot of investment into that, and you can feel comfortable that anytime you buy U.S. cotton, that's what's built in. The sustainability story is built into that cotton, so you can feel very comfortable about using that raw material. In regards to circularity, this is an exciting topic for cotton, because cotton is naturally circular. If you think about the production of cotton, you're planting a seed into the ground. That seed produces fiber. It also produces more seed, so you get lint and seed from it. And then ultimately that fiber goes into a product, and at the end of the day, that product is biodegradable. It is compostable. It can be returned back to the earth. So if you think about circularity as a whole, there are a lot of opportunities with cotton. We do talk about reuse. We do talk about recycling, but ultimately at the end of the day, a huge differentiating factor for cotton is that it is a natural fiber and is biodegradable. And I'll play a short video here for you and resume after that. Maybe not. Okay, we'll keep on. It's okay. So as we address circularity here, you know, there are a lot of different definitions to it and ways that we can approach it. Textile to textile is one that's been probably at the heart of most discussions with you all in the room, looking at how can I take a textile garment, break it down, garnet it down into, you know, a new fiber again, a new cotton fiber, and then blend it into a cotton fabric. You know, that cotton, honestly, as you know, we're very limited in that space. If you chop up a cotton fabric back into a fiber, you're reducing the fiber length, which presents a lot of challenges. And depending on, you know, the count of the yarn, you can get anywhere from maybe 10 up to 30% blending inside of that yarn. So we're also looking into alternatives as well. You can see here textiles into nonwovens. Nonwovens is a great opportunity because nonwovens really doesn't depend on the fiber length nearly as much as an actual knit or woven fabric. So are there ways that we can take those fibers that have been broken back down, utilize them in some kind of a batting, an insulation, or some type of a filter. And if you take it a step further, we're also looking at new opportunities on engineered products. How can we take that fiber and make it into an insulation? Are there ways that we can utilize the fiber and create it, utilize it in things like three-dimensional printing? Here you can see on the screen a 3D printer that's running. This is actually a filament that's been created with PLA, and we blended in 10 and 20% cotton. So really there's a world of opportunity there, but what's really exciting is that cotton, as I mentioned earlier, is natural fiber, so it is biodegradable. It can be returned to the earth, and we can bypass any of those other opportunities. And this is where I really see a lot of opportunity for making an impact. Here on the screen, you can see a researcher from Arkansas in the United States. He is a cotton producer researcher. Every year, he takes actually cotton garments and plants them into the ground. We take a group of brands and retailers to the farms to teach them about farming practices. He digs those garments up and shows them. In his left hand, you can see he's holding a pair of underwear that were 100% cotton. Only things that are left are the seams, the sewing thread on the seams and the waistband. In his right hand, he's got polyester underwear. They haven't degraded at all. So it just goes to show that cotton can biodegrade. We're currently doing a lot of research with the University of Cornell on compostability and cotton compostability. We've been doing this work since 2021, and we see a lot of great opportunity here in taking cotton garments, putting them in a compost pile, and ultimately producing a soil that can be utilized on the land to grow more cotton. Here you can see some pictures of the research that's been done. This is research from last year showing where we put 100% cotton denim in a compost pile or a commercial compost pile. Over the months, you can see the first month through to the fourth month. Over time, there's nothing left. It's biodegraded completely. The only thing that's left, again, is the sewing threads, which are usually polyester, and then also the pocketing material, which also is typically a synthetic. We compared that to a cotton blended fabric. Go back, cotton blended fabric. The cotton blend, as you can see over time, the cotton component biodegrades over time just as well, decomposes. And the only thing that was left after 5 months was this was a cotton polyester spandex blended fabric. All you can see is the remaining are the synthetic fibers there. So again, just further evidence of cotton's ability to be returned to the earth. And this is really a great opportunity and something that we see a lot of bright future for on the cotton side. Not only is this a concern for the environment, but polyester and plastics are also a concern for human health. Here you can see a study done by the University of Newcastle shows that humans consume on average up to a credit card's worth of plastic a week. So these plastics that we're consuming are from microfibers. Textiles are responsible for about 35% of the microplastic pollution in the ocean. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, what that means is as we take our garments, cotton or polyester, when we launder them, there's a lot of agitation inside of that laundering machine. As those garments launder, they fibrillate, meaning the fibers break off of the fabrics and enter into the waste stream. Cotton is guilty of this just as other fibers. They all break off and enter into the waste stream. However, as you know, cotton's advantage is going to be that we biodegrade. So thousands of those microfibers enter into the waste stream as garments are laundered. And we did some research with the University of North Carolina State to determine what exactly happens when those fibers and those different types of fibers enter into the waste stream. So here you can see over time what happens of cotton fibers and polyester fibers as they enter into a wastewater treatment plant. So we went through, took cotton and polyester fibers with North Carolina State University, put them in wastewater treatment environment. And you can see over time, after about 30 days, cotton biodegrades about 85%. Polyester, it's a plastic, it's synthetic, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't biodegrade, so it's still there 100% of the time. What happens if those fibers make it through the wastewater treatment plant? Maybe they're not captured and they make their way out into our freshwater environments. Similar situation here, you can see over time inside of the freshwater, this is simulated lake water, cotton biodegrades about 85% after 35 days. Polyester, again, it's plastic, it persists. There's nothing, it's not going to go away, it doesn't degrade at all. And lastly, what happens if it makes it into our seawater? Where we have fish. I've enjoyed some great seafood here in Pakistan. fish are coming into contact with these microplastic. That's how people and humans are ingesting them. The biodegradation is not as strong. It's not as fast for cotton or any of the fibers in the salt water, but after 35 days, cotton's degraded about 60%. Polyester, again, it's a plastic. It's going to persist. So this is a really important topic to discuss, and really something that is important from both not only a circularity topic, not only an environmental topic, but also a human health topic as well. So Cotton Incorporated, we have a lot of resources available to you. I do want to put a plug in. If you walk out of this store to your right at the break today, we have a booth there. My colleague, Mr. Daniel Wong from our Hong Kong office is here. We have a lot of our technologies that you can take a look at and learn about. We have a lot of our fabric developments that you can learn about, and then just a range of information on Cotton Incorporated. So we're excited to be in Pakistan. We're excited to put some more priority and emphasis on the region, and look forward to working very closely with you in the future. Thank you. Happy to answer some questions or try to get us back on track on time. And I will be out there at the break as well if you want to come talk to me as well during the break. Okay, yes.
Hi. Hello.
Oh.
My topic is relevant to the your discussion about recycling and the circularity of cotton. Recycling is in practice from many years. Also non-wovens are being made, but the main challenge is circularity of cotton fiber. To be made a garment from the recycled cotton, it's a challenge. Do you have some research about this to maintain or to develop the to get the same quality of fiber after recycling?
I wish I had a magic wand for that. It's an extreme challenge for cotton to be able to go into a physical garment, knit, woven, deconstruct it, and have the same quality of fiber. So it's not something that we found to be possible, because you have to take the fiber out, you have to find a way to deconstruct it, which the most efficient way to do that is going to be to utilize a mechanical process to pull those fibers apart. And whenever you do mechanical processes, obviously you're going to damage the fiber length. So we haven't found a way to reverse engineer a product to have the quality of the fiber be the same. And that's really one of the challenges with cotton and recycling. And that's why Cotton Incorporated is looking for other opportunities. Textile to textile is just one possibility. And really we're trying to get the industry to think more broadly. We can do better than just textile to textile. We can do other things. I mean,
yeah, definitely. But that will be the recycling, not the circularity.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the recycling. That's a really very good option.
Sure.
And that is being in practice in the industry as well. Yeah.
But we have not found, and really the limits that we found have been about, depending on yarn count, 10 to maybe 30, maybe 40 if you're getting into a very coarse count yarn.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, William, for a very informative session. So now, without any further ado, it's time to have our first panel discussion, and we are going to discuss about tackling raw material challenges and commencing global trend. And for this, we have our moderator, Mr. Khurram Iqbal, CEO, YS Group Pakistan. Please welcome him on stage. And our panelists are Mr. Steve Trier, CCI President and Global Head of Marketing, Loose Dreyfus Company. Please welcome him on stage. Mr. Wayne Boseman, President, Cotton Grower Cooperative, please. Mr. Robin Pigo, Global Trading and Merchandising, Cargill Cotton. and Mr. Mohammad Nasir Suhail, Managing Partner, Khuda Bucks Enterprises. Please come on stage.
Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to have you all here. Very good presentations by both Williams and Robin. They have pretty much covered whatever is happening in the global textile world right now. And we all know cotton play a very important role in textile supply chain because it constitutes 70% of your input cost. So it is very important for textile people to manage this component very delicately, because if you mismanage it, then you lose it. So this panel that we're going to discuss today, we have a little less time, so we'll be quick. We'll be discussing what challenges mills are facing these days in raw material procurements and what are the global trends we are having to offset it. So we have an expert panel. We have Steve Dyer, Mr. Wayne, Robin, and Nasser Suhail, and we have 7-8 topics which we will cover quickly. So I'll start off from my seat there. So interesting topics, huh? So where we'll start is basically, I have a set of topics. So I will ask certain questions pertaining to it. So the first topic is basically, as we all know, post-COVID, the cost of productions have gone up worldwide. And after COVID, we saw price of cotton and raw materials dropped, but after that, the demand rised and all the prices and everything and cotton, everything went up. But now lately, what is happening is that the price of cotton is getting cheaper where we can sell it, but the cost of production is rising. So the question is, how do you see these two factors going in opposite direction affecting the global cotton trade? How this inflation is hitting this industry? So you guys are experts. So any one of you, if you want to answer, can please start off with it.
I'll be glad to address that. In this stage of the commodity cycle, early on, we saw prices rising faster than inputs were rising.
Yeah.
Now we've gotten to the point that prices started falling and inputs have fallen some, but certainly not to the point to make it profitable for cotton acres going forward in the US right now. So one of two things are going to have to happen. We're obviously going to have to see input prices start to come down and to remain competitive at current levels. If not, we're going to see an acreage reduction in the US. I don't think it'll be hugely significant with current inputs and current prices, but I do think we'll see some. And because currently corn and soybean prices, although they're below their highs as well, they're not quite as much of a losing margin or break even where cotton is today. So I think we'll see acres reduced first phase, and second phase we'll see inputs come down to a level to get cotton acres back on track.
So I think very good perspective from a grower. But Robin and Steve, since you guys trade a lot of cotton, I think both companies combined do over 10 million bales. How do you see this challenge troubling you guys?
I agree with what Wayne was saying about the input prices coming down. We've been in a weird bubble for, call it COVID through, just some months ago, where we forget that we were always on the fence anyway between cost of production, profitability of cotton, profitability of mills. So it hasn't been too long ago that we were always in this situation, pretty much. And, from our perspective, it was always, with some years outliers, mills try to fix at low prices, farmers try to fix at high prices. Us three in the middle, take the hedging risk. I think, when I was here last year, I think I alluded to this, COVID kind of taught me, and I think a lot of other folks, that you don't know as much as you think you know, because a lot of things don't typically make sense when you get into these weird environments. So I think, we're going to go back to that balance again. I had this conversation with a lot of folks, throughout Pakistan, that you get to where the market can't really come down below a certain level because farmers won't plant. It can't go above a certain level with demand only at a certain level because, mills can't be profitable. So I think we're back to that, you got to find your sweet spot on mills fixing, farmers fixing. I feel like that's what we're going to go back to for a period of time.
Robin, you would like to add something to this?
And I agree with both of them. I mean, we're caught between a cost of production. And I would say you mentioned the cost of production in the US, the cost of production in certain parts of the world are different. And I was mentioning earlier in the presentation that, with the increased production in Brazil, you would have a different environment for pricing. And I think this different environment for pricing is coming from the cost of production, which is cheaper in Brazil. And at the same time, we're having a disconnect, or we cannot read very well the demand between what the consumer actually consumes and what the supply chain is actually willing to supply to the customers, at least right now. So we have a little bit of this disconnection between what the actual consumption is and what the apparent consumption is in the supply chain. And that one is creating this, I would say, instability, at least right now. So we will be coming back to a balance. Actually, we are in a balance, but what we call right now is an unstable balance, in the sense that if you shift it just a little bit, you're going to be falling one way or the other. We're not in a stable environment. I would say a stable balance would be an environment in which, if you have a pea inside a football, if you move the pea will always come back to the stable environment. We currently are in an environment where the pea is on the top of the football, and if you shift it a little bit, it can go one way or the other. And this is what is difficult right now, and creating concerns at the retailer level, creating concerns at the supply chain level, and supply chain up to the farmer.
Yes, very interesting. But you see, if you go through, if you talk to any spinner or textile people, they will tell you that this man-made fibers, they're really diving into the cotton share. And if you go through the numbers, the use of polyester has been certainly on the rise. So this tussle between pricing and cost of production, what do you think would be the challenge that this cotton market would face in the next 10 years? Do you see man-made fibers taking over? Because even today, polyester is way too cheaper. Nasir, you'd like to add something?
Yeah, Nasir, if you want to.
Can you come again on the question?
The question is basically the man-made fibers, are they going to be a big threat to cotton in the next 10 years? Because the price for man-made fibers technically is being kept a little lower. Even today, at a point when farmers are finding it hard to sell, even at a cost of production, the man-made fibers are a little cheaper. So what do you think is the biggest threat to cotton in the next 10 years?
I believe, yes, man-made fiber is somehow going to affect on the cotton, but it's still man-made fiber, like at the moment, if you're going to see that most of the sportswear now, they are going to the man-made fibers things, kind like they're made from the man-made fibers. So yes, there is a threat to cotton from the man-made fiber.
I think also, I haven't seen this graph lately, but there's a graph of global fiber use.
Yeah.
And the polyester one, man-made fiber one goes like this, and the cotton one kind of goes like this.
Yes.
There's a giant spread. So I think there's it's a huge threat. And I think between the man-made fibers and the potential with recycled fibers, I know a couple gentlemen asked the recycled fiber thing. It's all we're hearing about now. I think it's a giant threat. I mean, demand is the one big threat, but man-made fibers has been a threat for 25, 30 years. And I think it's not a fight to get stuff back 100% cotton. It's a fight to just get your share back of what you lost out of polyester and have blends. Because I think, we're going to lose the battle if we try to fight the industry. We've got to adapt.
And one last follow-up on cotton production cost versus price, the U.S. is in the midst of renewing this farm bill now. We're working on that actively this year. Maybe we get it done, maybe we don't. But one of the main focuses on that is raising the support price for U.S. cotton prices. So that would help stabilize acres in the U.S. and not be quite as market sensitive in times of these volatile markets as well.
Interesting. Speaking about US cotton, you see, we have seen lately from your chart that the production in the US is continuously on the decline. And we are seeing Wednesday numbers, they start off very high and they end up really low. So there are weather challenges and everything. Since we are here, the CCI delegation is here promoting US cotton. Why US cotton production is going down? Has it to do something with the cost, not getting proper benefit? Because your competing market is Brazil and their upcoming crop is 80% already sold and their cost of production is lower. They can enjoy this benefit. How US market is tackling this challenge? Is there any technological advancement we are doing which makes us different from other CF growers? Because from the look of it, US cotton is barely 20% sold right now. So why your competition is outselling and American production is going down, sales are lower? What American grower community and merchants are doing to pull that thing up?
Well, to address the production decline, I think you have to look at it in two different fronts. One is Memphis Eastern, which is rain grown and it's the acres and it's pretty consistent yields and production. Memphis Eastern acres have been somewhat on decline the last several years because of more competitive corn and soybean prices. We've seen higher productive acres shift into corn and soybeans. So that's represented quite a bit of decline. The other part of that is Texas acres and Texas production. Texas has been in a severe drought for the last 2 years, and they have such large swings in production just on small amounts of rain. Their acres will get planted. They don't really have an alternative to change to other crops, but they're totally dependent on timely rainfall, and their rainfall has been very short the last 2 years, and that's caused an equal amount of drop in production as well.
How do you see the demand for US cotton going forward? Because we know because of the Xinjiang ban, a lot of product which is exported into Europe and US cannot be spun out of that cotton from Xinjiang. So despite these challenges, US sales still down. Do you see the prospects of US sales going up going forward? And how do you see the pricing for US cotton? The basis and everything will reduce or not?
We're in a clear fight with Australia and more so Brazil. There's no doubt about it. The Brazilian, could produce more than the US, depending on the crop. There's a high chance of that. And they could also export more too, depending on crops. So we're gonna have to continue to fight Brazil for market share. Australia, we always fight. They're continuing to increase acres. They're opening up farmland up north. So they could have a much bigger crop too. As far as the demand for US, we're anxiously awaiting the calls from our customers as they're awaiting the calls from their customers. So like Robin was saying earlier, it feels pretty bleak. But as we said in some of the other seminars, I know we had this discussion in Karachi, we can quantify the production. We can just never quantify the demand. And we always miss the demand because it comes before we see the tables turn. So if you guys might have some other thoughts on that one too.
I think the sustainability and the trust protocol and fiber trace, the value added features which US cotton is providing and others are lagging behind right now. Brazil is catching up. They're coming up with their blue card and other things, but I think they're still far behind. So this traceability and the value addition which US cotton is bringing, do you think it will boost the US cotton business going forward? And other than these traces, is there anything innovation going on in the US cotton that can be more useful to the spinners, even if they pay a premium?
I definitely think US demand has benefited from the trust protocol. We've seen it, and supply chains are more interested in reaching out to us as wanting to find US grown cotton, regeneratively grown, trust protocol grown cotton. And they're trying to be more responsible, environmentally responsible, and as well as being traceability. And with the whole Xinjiang issue that we faced and shifting supply chains out there, it's certainly benefited U.S. cotton. And I think that combined with trust protocol will continue to support demand. But just the current environment today is just global demand is lacking all the way around.
Yeah, and we need some traceability is one of the biggest topics. I think,
Yeah.
you know, the world is demanding it. It's demanding it in food, it's demanding it in textiles, you know, everything. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to do it. I know, you know, sometimes our industry is resistant to change. So we're gonna have to do some things that can make us uncomfortable for traceability.
Robin, you'd like to add something on the sustainability?
I think that the US cotton has advantages that the other origins do not have, and especially Brazil. What Brazil tries and do and has been doing over the past years is really trying to copy the business model of US. So it's still behind. So there are still features which are, you know, desired by the customers and do satisfy the customer needs by the US cotton that would not be satisfied by Brazilian cotton. But this gap is narrowing. So any kind of new initiative around traceability or sustainability that would fit what the customer wants or what the brand or retailer wants is definitely something that can be done in the US and should promote the US cotton again. We need to segment the market and consider that the US cotton is going to be responsive to very specific needs and can respond to specific needs as well. And what I was saying as well is that a high price environment, if you are in an environment where the futures are 95 cents, I mean, the US cotton will be definitely competitive compared to Brazil or any other, you know, origin.
Yeah.
We are in this kind of environment today where the futures are a little bit going on the low side, and you can see that compared to the previous years. There was a chart of what December was worth versus the previous years. This is an environment where US are in some sort of a limbo and cannot really come down for technical reasons, and while the rest of the market can keep on pricing. So you are in a push environment where the demand is not super vivid, and the push is being satisfied by these origins that have the capacity to really drop their basis.
Interesting. Nasser, you're in touch with a lot of mills locally. So let's talk from a mill's perspective. What mills expect from you in terms of traceability over the years? Are you seeing more demand for sustainable inquiries, or what is different that you feel now post-COVID?
I would like to
Answer from a mill's perspective, if you're a mill.
Basically, yes. Recently, this sustainable, like either it's US Trust Protocol, either it's organic, either it's region agri, the new sustainable.
Yeah.
The demand is actually coming back. Before, I would like to add over here the organic premiums in you can say COVID times or somewhere around that. The brands are not able to absorb those premiums. If you remember, at some point there was a premium of 60% over the conventional cotton.
Yeah.
So that exactly where the organic has lose its demand, and there are new sustainable programs coming in, like the US Trust Protocol. Many of the mills now want US Trust Protocol. Definitely because of the brands are asking for that, and I believe that the organic share has been loose and it has shifted to other programs like US Trust Protocol and other programs.
And you see, speaking about premiums, we speak to a lot of mills. Everybody needs sustainability, better cotton, lot of tracers, but nobody's willing to pay any premiums. So frankly speaking, from a grower's perspective, is there a premium to it? Really, what is the cost for adding this premium, or what is the realistic value?
Look, I'll tell you, it comes at a cost to us. I'll go through the individual, the BCI, the Cotton Trust Protocol, the region agri, and I'll even talk about organic just for a second. BCI is a cost to us. This is just from a US perspective, but it happens in Brazil, it happens in other places. We get our list of growers that sign up. We have to do the self-assessments. We have to send out third-party surveyors. We have to send out our surveyors. then we have to do final reports, and we also have to incentivize our growers to do it. It comes at a cost. So that's clear. Cotton Trust Protocol, we're lucky that the National Cotton Council and the industry supported it. So they fund quite a bit of the overhead that comes with it, but it still comes at a cost to us. You know, you have the verified and the non-verified. The verified comes at a cost because you have to allocate bales from maybe different regions, and you have to split qualities, and you have to have extra logistics costs. The non-verified, it's a little bit homogeneous. It's coming to its own. The organic, just from a U.S. perspective, I know a lot of, I think it's one of the most highly volatile price series that we see, even more than Pima, because it comes in waves. We'll have huge demand, you can't sell enough, we're 10 times oversubscribed, and we get a lot of cotton in our in our pool. Then it comes in times like this where I can't give a bale of organic away. So it's super volatile. So all these things that people ask for, the regenerative is a gigantic cost to us. I know Cargill's got a program. I know Wayne's, that their farmers are looking into it. There's no metric, there's no table, there's no spreadsheet that says, okay, it should cost this. It's just, we're all trying to figure it out. But I think you asked the magic question, are the brands and retailers ready to pay for it? They talk out of both sides of their mouth. They say they are, and then when it comes to time, a lot of times that they're not there. So they really have to underwrite these programs because, like Wayne said, the farmer can't absorb any more cost. Our infrastructure as merchants and co-ops can't absorb any more cost. So it has to come from the brands and retailers have to support the programs.
And also to follow up on that, so, it depends on which program you're doing and what it costs and the depth of time and resources you have to spend signing up these growers and verifying, and the growers themselves spend on it. If you're doing trust protocol, it's one thing. If it's regenerative to something else, and now scope 3, it's going to be something else. And it just continues to escalate, and it varies by what program you're participating in. But I think the farmers are going to be very reluctant to do a whole lot without being able to recognize some gains from it, because they don't see as much incentive in signing up. But our companies have committed to doing it, and we've done a lot of hand holding and helping the farmers sign up at our expense to make these programs work. And I think for those programs to continue, we're going to have to see a bigger premium than what we've seen so far. I don't know the magic number of that.
Yeah. The thing is, you're absolutely right. The retailers in the end, they're not willing to absorb any cost. So when the cost is communicated to the spinners, they're hesitant to absorb it. So CCI at its place can maybe collaborate with the brands and maybe convey to them that these costs are there, like regenerative cotton. 14-15 cents of a premium, no brand was willing to pay. Some pilot programs are going on, but brands maybe, don't you think, should be taken on board on all this, and they should be more involved in this cost structures and all, because they believe they're being ripped off.
So I hope that I don't get shot or stabbed by saying this on the way out of here, but the brands and retailers don't have anyone that understands cotton in their organizations. I think if they took the time to understand the industry and looked at what we do, what the farmers do, what we do, what the mill sector does, instead of just saying, hey, I need regenerative, without knowing what it takes to actually make the program work, then I think they would agree with supporting it financially. But to this point, not all, but most of them, in our experience, just will say they will, and when it comes to actually putting their money where their mouth is, they don't.
Yes. And speaking about the sustainable products, a lot of people ask us in Pakistan, it's very hard to get organic cotton out of US. Okay, we all know it's a BT seed and all, but it's a growing market, organic. And we all know in certain origins, it's all certificates dime a dozen. So why isn't US working on this part of the trade? Why US is not involved in organic?
I will say this, we have about 40,000 acres, more or less, of organic cotton in the US. It's mostly in West Texas, which, like Wayne said, is the most highly volatile weather environment in the world to grow cotton. So you either have a lot or you have not so much. This year, it's not so much, just the irrigated acres. To grow organic cotton in the US, there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. If we want to start, if a farmer today wants to start growing organic cotton in the US, they have a 3-year horizon that they have to let the land rest, and they can grow something, but it has to be a transitional bale where there's no chemicals, has to be organic, but it can't be certified as organic till year 3. So they have 2 years worth of cost, and on the 3rd year, they can actually realize an organic enhancement crop. The organic is quite expensive to grow in the US if you do it right. And I can't really speak for Turkey. I can't really speak for, I know there's some going on here. I think we know what happened in India with some of the false certificates.
Yeah.
But the premium that's asked for the organic cotton out of the US is quite justified, whatever it may be.
Also, it's not practical to grow it in Memphis Eastern because of weed control and pest control. It's much greater pressure on both of those in Memphis Eastern versus Texas, being in an arid, high altitude environment. So it's not really practical, in addition to the cost of getting started and the input cost of growing it and the certification cost and time spent certifying. I'm a certified organic grower, but I don't grow cotton. My family grows other crops, but it's a very cost intensive program to do.
Very good. I think it pretty much explains the organic scenario in the US. So we are a little late on time, so I'll be quick in the last 2 topics. So we all know that there are a lot of uncertainties going on in the world, and spinners especially, they think what is the right time to buy, how much to cover in forward. So you guys as merchants, what would you suggest for them to go about in this volatile times? Is it good? It's a very tough question.
Should we let Nasir answer this one?
Anybody can answer. So, shall people go long in these environments at these levels, at these markets, or wait and watch? What should they do? And especially you can answer this with respects to the Pakistan industry. So they have a very cheap cotton right now, which is almost 78, 79 cents. World is expensive right now. So what would you suggest to the Pakistan textile community? How should they go about it? We can have closing remarks and then we can have a question and answer session. So Robin, if you would like to give a closing remark on that.
Obviously, I get that question. I would be extremely prudent. I think that you need to play the domestic market as much as possible because that's the cheapest cotton you can get. Now, as I said, I think that, in the current environment, when you are at 88 cents, probably it's not the right time to buy anything when the futures are at this level. Not that they cannot go higher, but the potential for coming lower is there, so you can gain some time. There is nothing today that indicates the market needs to rally, and the concerns on the demand may weigh, more than the demand restrictions that we have in the market. Personally, I think the market goes up first and then down later. But there may be a little rally, the technical aspect, and then coming down later. So I think time is of the essence, as usual. But I think time is on the side of the spinning mills. They should not go too quick into buying any imports and wait a little bit. So that's what I would do. It doesn't mean that this is what you have to do. But would I be sitting in your shoes? I would be prudent and probably moderating into buying anything. Now, what I also believe is that I said that there will be a window between now and December where the basis in the US could be cheaper because actually the farmers didn't sell much. So buying the basis, if he does it by 150 points, 100 points, 150 points, owning the basis could be something. But what I've been looking into is probably, spread the position, the December into the March, so that, the market is going to get into a carry. And I think there is a way to take advantage of that. So there could be a way to play the carry in a wise manner so that you are not being killed by the cost of carry and you can actually enjoy a better environment for pricing later. So
buying the basis of a March because there is a carry and looking into a discount versus the December, for example, could be something to be looked into, and then just wait for the March to be coming down, to be pricing it. So it seems to be, is it clear what I'm saying, or?
No, it's pretty clear.
Okay.
Very interesting, good advice.
Okay.
Nasser, what do you think the mill should do?
In my opinion, at the moment, the price difference between the Pakistan and any other imported cotton is somewhat like around 27 cents. Pakistan cotton is somewhere around 77 cents.
Yes.
And any other growth is like minimum 1,000 on 1,200 on, that equates to around 97, 98 levels, 200 levels. So I believe at the moment, Pakistan mills should focus on the import. But again, that I don't know, many people can disagree on the crop number, but we might be ending up having a crop number of 8 million bales, or more or less. Some people are saying 9 million. I have a view of 8 million bales. And in this current scenario, I am expecting a consumption of somewhere around like 13 million bales. So we are short of that. But one more thing is that when to buy. There is one more problem, is that due to very high interest rates in Pakistan, mills like in previous year, they used to carry the stocks, carry the cotton for like 6 months, 7 months. This cannot sustain anymore with the mills. So they have to live with it. Let's see how the coming months goes on, but they have to go for import. And as far as for the Pakistan cotton, I believe that Pakistan is having the cheapest cotton at the moment. They should be making innovation by making best use out of that cheap cotton.
Yes. And maybe coming up with ways to reduce their cost and all, and make their spinning process more sustainable.
Exactly. Pakistan is actually, I believe, Pakistan is one of the countries who is adopting sustainable on the first go.
Yeah.
So that's where Pakistan is really doing well.
Man, what's your advice as a US grower?
I think first of all, you got to look at each mill has got to look at what their current demand forecast looks like. All the mills we've talked to have seen quite a shift in their demand nearby and going and forward demand for the coming year as businesses slow down. Many of them said the orders are way down. So I think first you got to get a handle on what you're going to need.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's pretty obvious you need to use the local crop because it carried as far as you can. But then once you get into import cotton, I think you're going to have to buy it hand to mouth just because of carrying costs. Yeah. And just buy what you need right in front of you. One, to eliminate the cost of carrying it, and two, to help remain close to what your current demand is until we can get a better handle on where the market stabilizes demand-wise and have a better look forward and see better orders from your customers.
So with the reduced crop number, do you think the US cotton will be available throughout the year?
I'm sorry?
With the reduced crop number, the risk is if you're buying hand to mouth, what if US sells out by mid of next year? Do you think this crop will be available till end of next year, 24, 25?
Even though the U.S. crop's smaller, I think demand is falling faster than supply is falling, and I think there'll be plenty available. We're only projecting to export 12 million bales and 12.5 million on a 13 million bale crop. Domestic usage is down, and we're still going to have enough. We didn't ship what we needed to last year, what we projected to last year, so I think there'll still be ample cotton available.
Excellent. Steve, your closing remarks, and then we'll open for questions.
Yeah, I think the guys, said it all. The local cotton's just a no-brainer. I mean, we've heard all week. I'd sort of had heard that before we got here. Totally agree with Robin. I think the mills here, as far as imports go, you'll get a better chance to buy stuff cheaper. Basis, we have to think about that. But as far as futures price, you probably see a little bit of appreciation, but you'll probably have a better chance by the time the window comes.
Excellent. So if anyone has any questions, please, for the panel. There's somebody there.
Hello, Ehsan here. There are two short questions regarding the USA cotton. The first one is you told there are 40,000 acres area where you grow the organic cotton. How much this is the percentage of total crop?
I'm sorry, Carla, I couldn't.
Sorry, we cannot hear you.
You told the organic cotton is grown in the USA.
Organic cotton, okay.
Yeah, about 40,000 acres, yeah.
So how much this is the percentage of total crop?
Of the total crop?
Percentage of total.
Oh, well, we have, almost, 10 million acres, so it's a tiny percent. It's really small percent, yeah.
And secondly, how much the premium of the price for organic and normal cotton?
The premium for organic in US,
Yes.
I can tell you what growers expect to receive. I can't tell you what we can actually achieve. They expect to receive at least 2 times what they have on their conventional. That's what they expect to receive.
So that's why organic cotton is not much familiar. USA organic cotton not familiar in Pakistan.
I wouldn't say that is true. I would say that there's enough of US organic that pay the price to get certified US organic with the GOT certificate. There are folks that do that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other question? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to our moderator and all the panelists. Now we will take 30 minutes tea and prayer break and see you after 30 minutes. Thank you, everyone.
Introducing the sustainable denim revolution.
Can I request everyone to please settle down as we are about to resume our conference?
कुछ सेकंड्स बात करती हूँ मैंने एक किया अनाउंस ओके
I would like to request everyone again, kindly settle down so that we can start. Please, everyone at the back, be seated so that we can start. Okay, everyone, I'm about to start, so please join us. We have another break, don't worry, but please, as soon as possible, come and settle down. So I hope everyone is enjoying our session, and I'll welcome you again on TEXtalks 6th International Conference on Textile 2023. So we have another very amazing presentation on the future of transferability. And for that, I would like to call Mr. Freddie Duffel, Head of Corporate Affairs, Alton, United Kingdom. Please give him a very, very big hand, everyone.
No worries. Thank you very much and good afternoon, everyone. Okay. So I hope you all enjoyed your afternoon tea, and I'm hopefully going to say some really interesting things that will make coming back from the tea break worthwhile. The theme of this conference today, and I want to start by saying thank you to all the TEXtalks team, particularly Yusuf and all of his team here. But the theme here today is inspiring change. There is no doubt that the textile industry is at a moment of a crossroads, if you will. On one side is the way that it's always been in the past, relying on traditional traceability methods, on hoping and on trust, but no verification. Without true traceability, you simply cannot have sustainability. What we mean by that, of course, is that if you do not know where your product has come from, you cannot really begin to change any problems that you have. And that's where Oratain has come in. Really, it's about protecting reputation, but it's also about providing companies in Pakistan that export fantastic product to the world an opportunity to really set themselves apart. So for us at Oratain, we've spent the last 15 years, 1-5, building something that is really quite unique, taking what is usually forensic science, the likes of which you'd find in a top-tier criminal laboratory, and creating something that can be used by commercial clients, top governments, including the United States federal government, as well as investors around the world. It's a solution to a global problem, a problem of a lack of real traceability, and how that fits with a broader ESG strategy, and of course within the supply chain. One of the things that we've spent the last 15 years in doing is building up some of the world's leading databases with hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of data points and samples. Our two founders, one of which is actually Professor Russell Frew, is one of the leading isotopic chemists. Not only is that, he's also one of the founding members and advisors to the United Nations on this point. So it's a really strong focus on science. And that's one of the watchwords I would say to you all today. Applying forensic and data science is something that is incredibly complex, but it's something we've been able to demystify the science. The science is actually so strong and so effective that it meets the criminal criteria to be used in a court of law. For those of you who are lawyers in the room, you may be familiar with the Dubert criteria. In reality, it's a complex market. We are delighted to work with over 120 of the world's largest brands, and we have been the official traceability partner for Cotton USA since 2019, something we're very, very proud to do. And it's been great to listen to so many of their top team here today. We represent and we work with clients in over 20 markets around the world. And many of the conversations that I've been delighted to have with many of you in this room and across Pakistan this week have been truly enlightening. And I'll say that for a couple of reasons. There's a real excitement in Pakistan and across the world to really understand traceability. And one of the things that we want to do is to provide that at Orate. So I want to delve a little bit more into the science and how it really works and how it sets itself apart from some of the more traditional traceability methods some of you may have come across, some of you may even used. Dyes, sprays, traditional paperwork. Orate believes that there is a different way, a better way. So if you look here, some of the traditional traceability methods that you made, something like a spray or a dye, they can tell you where a product is, where it's been, but they can't tell you what it is. And many of you will know very clearly that when it comes to the United States, the European Union, and across the world, governments are asking for something different. They're asking for material traceability. They're asking to know where exactly a product has come from, right the way back, not at just one point in the supply chain, but at every point in the supply chain. And that is what Orate technology is able to give you. You can take a physical sample at the cotton plant, in the yarn, the fabric, the finished product, right the way through, and you can take a physical sample and test it. And that's what we do. We don't rely on third party, we rely on our own data. We have spent decades in collecting these samples and working incredibly hard with top flight scientists and policymakers to create something we think is truly quite special. So a little bit more about the science and how each plant and each piece of the cotton and broader fabric traceability is very unique. Each plant in each cotton field, in each field in Pakistan and in every country in the world is just a little bit different. It's different because of the climate, the fertilizers that have been put into it, the water that it's had around it, and the soil. So each one is just a little bit different. Many of you will understand the concept from your fingerprints. Each of your fingerprints in this room is slightly different. And we can be able to verify using the traceability that we have that these fingerprints are unique. It is known as the origin fingerprint. So what are the benefits? And a little bit more on the science in a minute. There are three big ones for us. The first is in terms of testing the physical product. As I said, we measure elements that naturally occur. There are no sprays or particles. In terms of manufacturing friendly, it integrates into a supply chains that are already existing. We know in Pakistan that many of the fantastic supply chains you have in the country are vertically integrated, and you know exactly what your product is and where it's come from. But being able to prove that to the world, to your investors, to your regulators, and ultimately to your end consumer is going to be what is going to set you apart from others. As I mentioned, in terms of commercial viability, it's something that meets the Dubert standard. And we're very proud to work with the United States government, of which, as well as others, in using this technology. And that's something that really brings a level of credibility that some other traceability solutions, I'm afraid, simply do not have. If we look on the right here, as I mentioned, it's testing the physical product. It's being able to really accurately, well over 99%, detect fraud, detect where there's a problem. It's testing anywhere in the supply chain. And most importantly, it works across many industries. In fact, just for a little bit of an inside information, our databases cover not just in cotton, but also in broader fabrics, wool, cashmere, and 25 other commodities. And one of the most important things at Orate is that we spend years working with clients to be able to develop those long-term relationships. And many of you will know that supply chains are not static. They spend their time evolving, growing, adapting, and changing. And if your traceability partner does not do the same, then quite frankly, what is the point? So I want to bring this into a little bit of real reality for you all. And hopefully even at the back, you can see we have brought up today just an example of some of the power of the science and how it can differentiate between different countries, as well as right the way down. On the scale here, we have 5 different samples: Australia, Egypt, India, Sub-Saharan Africa,
and of course, Pakistan. What you will be able to see is that each one of these is ever so slightly different. And the way that that's been able to be done is by testing the physical product and being able to collect the samples. So these are samples we have taken. So the way that the science is going to work is that a client will provide us and we will select a number of items. We can test that physical product and we can compare it against our databases, which, as I said, has hundreds of thousands of data points, real data points, ones that we know, we've verified, and we trust. And enables us to tell with a high degree of accuracy exactly where that product has come from. And one of those two things is extremely helpful. It allows you to prove a positive that your cotton does come from Pakistan, for example, but it also allows you to disprove any negative. We've heard a lot today about the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, or UFLPA. It's something that the United States takes very seriously, and at Oretain, we actually work with some of the last executive directors of CBP. It's also something that is expanding across the world. What we're seeing is that traceability is something that is so critical to supply chains, and companies need to be able to verify that their products do not come from prohibited regions. At the moment, that's China. I suspect there'll be others as well. And the science is incredibly powerful. I want to leave you with a message before I open the floor up to questions. The reality is it's an extremely exciting time. And as I said at the top of my remarks, there is an opportunity to change, and there's an opportunity for really strong companies to do better, to make a real difference, and not one that impacts their bottom line, but the opposite, to actually increase their bottom line. I'd like to also ask you for a challenge, if I may. The reality here is that Oretain is more than willing and able to have conversations with many of you, and we've had many this week. Myself, I'm here all day, and if I could ask my commercial colleague Josh, who's down there in the audience, I did say I could embarrass him once, privileges. He was very upset the drone didn't film him. But I'd also like you to ask the question of us. Come to us, challenge us, ask us more about the science, because we are more than happy to be able to deliver what we believe is something that is truly special. Something that can actually work with you, not against you, and something that really does deliver on a solution to a problem that you may not realize now, but I can assure you is coming to each and every one of us. The truth really does lie within. So I'll pause there, and I'd be delighted to answer some questions that are coming. And whilst you're considering your questions, I know we've got a really exciting panel on circularity and traceability that I'm joining in a few minutes, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have now. Hello, yes, just give me 1 second so I can hear what you're saying. We got a microphone for this gentleman?
My question is this, cotton has to face very vigorous processes, chemical treatments before getting the shape of a final product. So, okay, maybe I can come over here.
Thank you very much to the gentleman. I'll just recapture the question. So the question is, obviously cotton goes through a number of processes from dyeing and spinning as well. So how do you are able to verify that the cotton has really come from the correct source? Have I captured that correctly? So the answer to the question is, it actually is not going to make any impact to our solution. So whether you've mixed it, dyed it, we can extract the cotton fibers and we can tell you exactly with almost pinpoint accuracy where the cotton has come from. And as I said, what that really makes the difference is that you can prove or disprove any concerns that you have. So hopefully that answers your question. So the answer is, in a nutshell, it actually doesn't make any difference. It won't stop the technology. It's extremely powerful, and it's something that we're very, very proud of. Hopefully that answers your question. Just trying to see any more here. No? Fantastic. In that case, thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen, and look forward to speaking with you further after this session, as well as on the panel later.
Thank you so much, Ray, for the wonderful insight. And let's move forward. We are having a very interesting presentation on a new direction, sustainable and traceable fibers. And for that, I would like to call Mr. Rizwan Afzal Chaudhry, Vice President, Commercial Polyester Fiber Business, Lucky Core Industry, has over 26 years of experience in textile value chain, especially in polyester fibers. Today, he will be sharing some insights about current and future trends in sustainable products and what is locally available. So please give him a very, very big hand. Thank you.
Good evening. I hope people are still fresh to listen to a new perspective. So I feel like a shark in a fish tank. It's all about cotton. And now somebody comes up and start to talk about polyester. But I'm very happy. Thank you very much, TEXtalks and Cotton USA for hosting this event yet again. And I was here last year and I learned a lot. And this year, I think I learned even more from our colleagues on the other side of the raw material. So polyester and cotton are not the really competing raw material. I was talking to someone. We complement each other as well. So because a polyester cotton blend can only be possible with two working together. However, when it comes to traceability, recyclability, traceability, I have heard, or return, pretty good, very impressive. I think this is something that I learned today. And but in polyester, it's a little bit easier because it's a man-made fiber. So I'll take you through my presentation. As you can see, the new direction. So actually, we have already started to move in this direction in terms of the recycled fiber, in terms of the traceability, but what lies ahead in this direction? And I feel for people who are trying to promote cotton, world is not in a good state for the textile trade, if you ask me. I think we need to readjust, settle down, come to a level which is acceptable to the global trade, and then I think we will go back up. That's my view, which may be wrong. So I'll just take you through my presentation. Green consumerism, the advent of green consumerism. When we talk about what is driving all this, the driving force, one of the major force behind the recycled products, sustainable products, is what the customer wants. So the survey suggests that more than 50%, close to 60% of the millennials want to buy sustainable and recycled products, the traceable products, so they can see where it's coming from. Now, this has been followed up. In fact, it's been driven by the brands. So instead of the customer asking for something, the brands were already ahead because they understand the future demand. And we have seen that so many brands, let's go back, have made commitments, their own commitments. It's not been driven by any regulations till today. And this has been committed by brands that they want to move to recycle 50%, 70%, and 100%. Majority of the brands are now saying they want to go to 100% sustainable. Either it comes from a recycled source or from any other resource that is traceable and sustainable. So while they are doing this, the governments are also starting to put in the regulations in place. The regulations were in place for other products such as PET-to-PET bottle recycling. There is a requirement in Europe. If you want to sell in Europe, PET bottle, it has to have recycled content in it. And it's coming to Asia as well, and everybody has to follow. In terms of garment and textile, the next thing that has come out is the regulations. They're coming in US, they're coming in Europe, and there is a 2030 vision, which clearly sort of shows the roadmap that this is where we want to go. So what countries now are looking for is some sort of recycled content in their textiles. So the brands will have to have some portion of recycled fibers in their textiles. Also, they need to have a digital passport where we talked about traceability. While I was listening to the earlier presentation, it was like a music to my ear. Everybody is talking about traceability. So traceability, the digital passport, make sure where the origin is, and where it's coming from, and all the way into the store where you're buying the product. So if you have that kind of traceability, the brands are off the hook. They don't have to prove to anyone that this has come from which source, because you already given them traceability. So that's going to be another important aspect. And lastly, the greenwashing somebody talked about, that if you have it, you have to prove it. It has to go to the lab test. It has to come out clear that if you say you have recycled content, 50% in a product, it has to show in the lab. And if it gets proven that it's all good, otherwise you may get blacklisted. So 3 of these things combined is a very strong recipe for someone to capture this market. The potential is huge. And if you mix the 3, just a second, it's not the end of story. The customer also wants quality, because the brand is not going to say, all right, you have recycled content, you have traceability, it's proven that it has recycled, but what about quality? We heard people saying that brands are not really keen to pay for extra, so they want product which is like virgin. It's very easy when you tell them that this is recycled, but it behaves like virgin fiber, easy acceptability. In addition to that, they need certification. So you need to have a recycling certification, you need to have Ocotex certification, that's the minimum. Then in addition to that, you can have many more certificates like C2C and some of the certificates that we have acquired. Compliance, social compliance, and audits compliance. So brands, big brands globally, they want to come and see how you run your operations. That's also an addition. And lastly, what are you doing for the environment? What is your corporate social responsibility? So it's not just having these, ingredients in the products, it's how they are put together in terms of a package that runs well. So this is a potential. This is huge. It's growing. Everybody is talking about it. And I'm glad to share that we have a product which is 100% PET bottle recycle. It's called Terylene Clean. It provides you the quality, as I talked about. It's close to virgin quality, and it has a certain chemical that is not required at a very low level. Then it has traceability. So our partner is Fiber Trace. It's a big company. We are the first polyester fiber manufacturer in Pakistan to have traceable fiber. So you can trace the fiber from raw material all the way to the end garment. In addition to that, we have all the certifications. And lastly, we are on a preferred supplier list for some of the major brands, and the number is growing quickly. Here, I would like to share with you, we earlier also heard in a panel discussion that there is a way of promoting your product. One is to go to the spinner and try to push through that channel. But we found that if you can have a brand nominating your product, then it's much easier. It makes everybody's life much easier. And we have tried to go to that route, and we have had very good successes so far. So moving on, the next pillar in my presentation is tackling microfiber pollution. So I heard from a presentation that polyester is a plastic. It doesn't biodegrade. I have good news. We have fiber, we have found fiber coming from a very strong partner of ours from US that actually behaves like natural fiber. So let me just share a little bit about. This is called Terylene powered by Cyclo. So normally polyester fiber would not biodegrade even in 100 years. In the marine life, in the landfill, it stays there and it makes microfiber pollution. At the same time, makes the land unusable for the future crops because it's plastic. But now we have a product which biodegrades naturally, like cotton, like wool, and the speed at which it biodegrades is very, very encouraging. So we have seen more than 90% biodegradation within less than 4 years. So at one side, we are talking about hundreds of years, because I wouldn't even live to see if it biodegraded or not, if it's a pure normal polyester. But with this product, we're looking at less than 4 years for more than 90% biodegradation. And this is going to help solve the major problem of that was linked with the plastics and the polyester, that they do not biodegrade, they have microfiber pollution, hopefully, and this is becoming big very, very quickly. I have very strong pipeline of orders coming in for this product, particularly for the US market right now. So once you ticked all 3 boxes, the last one where everybody is now talking about is upcycling, is where you talk about textile to textile recycling. And this is the next step for the future. So we came from recycle to traceable to biodegradable, and now the next step is to go to textile, which is upcycling. So what happened that the bottle consumers, bottle producers, likes of Pepsi, Coke, Nestle, they had a problem maybe a decade and a half ago when it started. And the textile industry, the polymer industry came to rescue, and they started to recycle the bottle. Now the regulation has come in for them to use their own PET waste into their own PET bottles. So their demand has started to go up, and that has started to have a problem for the polyester fiber industry, because the PET bottle, which goes to these FMCG end users, has a much higher value than the polyester fiber. So there is a forecasted demand supply gap that's emerging. There's not enough flakes going around in the next 5 to 10 years as the demand for the PET bottle and other recycled PET materials is going to grow. And hence, there is an urgent need for us, the textile value chain, to move from PET to textile recycling. And this is where everybody is now investing, heading, all the brands are talking about it already. And in order to facilitate that, there are a number of players that have already come in the research. They have started to do lab trials. There are some that has produced commercially some product. It's starting to come out in the market in a very, very small little pockets, but there is no such real large commercialization as of today, to my knowledge. However, I feel with the knowledge that I have interacting with these companies, we are looking at 3 to 5 years horizon. By 27, 28, we can foresee large commercialized plants coming in. They will be taking textile waste and converting it back into polymer chips or raw material for polyester that can then be converted back into polyester fiber. And the beauty of that process is that once it's done through chemical processing, the product that comes out is almost like a virgin product. So you don't have the problem of the recycling and the quality is being inferior. So this is something that's in the process. A lot of companies are working on it, and we are hoping to see something within the next 3 to 5 years. So this is all about business. I just want to end my presentation with one slide where we're trying to make a difference in our communities. If it moves. So we have partnered for change with a number of organizations in Pakistan. One of them is, if it works. Okay, so one of them is our National College of Arts, where they made art products from PET bottles that we supplied them that helped create awareness in the students. Then we have done Green School certification, where we selected 10 schools from public sector, and we went there and we taught them how to make sure that they have sustainable practices going on. We put the bins, separate garbage in each bin. We educate the kids so that they understand how to make sure that the garbage is not mixed and it's reused. Then the next step is we work with WWF to educate even younger kids. And lastly, this is the closest to my heart scheme, is a PET bottle deposit scheme, where we have an NGO who collects waste, and after the sale of that waste, they spend that money on education of the kids. And this is where we feel that there is a lot that can be done so far. So what we have done, we have asked them to go and collect bottle. We have enabled them with pickup trucks and educate their workers how to go and talk to people about collecting waste. And they actually pay money to collect this waste, which we are guaranteeing them to buy at a much higher price. So this has started a system whereby they can make more money than they were making before. They can collect more waste with a guaranteed buyer, and hence put more kids into school where the education is free, where food is free, where shelter is free. And so far in the last 1 year, I think we have collected about 48,000 kgs of waste. It doesn't change my dynamics. I consume 50 tons a day. And we have been able to put about 156 kids from street into school with this initiative. And this is what is making me really excited about it. And this is what is going to change for our future generations. So in order to, to do business, we also need to be careful, what we're doing to our communities. So with this, I'd like to end my presentation. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you very much. It's always friends who ask the first question because they know you.
If our product can prove by the fiber trace, that is there any need to verify with the third party or certification that it is a recycled material?
Yes, of course. There are two different ways to verify that this product contains recycled material, which are tested in the labs, where they see the one way is that they check the content of IPA, which is the chemical that's only used in PET bottle. So if you're not using PET bottle, you would not find that chemical in the fiber. And the percentage of that in the fiber will tell you how much of recycled content it has. And second is you look through a microscope and it gives you amorphous and crystalline regions. And from there, you can also find out how much recycled content it has, other than fiber trace. So those are the lab-based tests. Fiber trace is in the garment shop where you are selling and buying. If customer wants to see if it contains recycled content, you can just test it with the gadget.
Is there any test to verify your biodegradable product, I mean Ciclo?
Sure, there are tests, but just imagine 4 years it takes to biodegrade more than 90%. So tests are a little longer, but they have smaller versions as well. If you want to get it tested, every batch we produce, it goes to the USA, gets tested in the lab, and then we get the certificate to sell it to the domestic market or export it to the US market. And it's a very interesting thing that in the US, one of the major customer of cotton and polyester, Parkdale is a large company. They are using almost 1,000 tons of biodegradable fiber. So yes, somebody said there is a threat from polyester. I think it's real. I think this is going to happen because it's cheaper, it's stronger, and it has a recyclability, which is obviously a little difficult with cotton, but I'm sure it will come.
Right. And how much time is it required for the LCI to enter in the thermomechanical, I mean, like test to text?
I don't think we will be doing that. I think if we go into chemical recycling, it will be 100% chemical recycling, not a mix which does not give the right quality. So my understanding.
That is thermomechanical.
Right. I think 3 to 5 years. As I said, we are partnered with a couple of companies in Europe, and they are in the process of setting up their first commercial plant. You have to understand, one polyester fiber plant takes 2 to 2.5 years to set up. So now they have proven the technology is going to take 2 to 2.5 years to set up. And then the waste is also available in Europe and Americas because there is fashion and there's a lot of textiles. In Pakistan, we don't have any textile left towards the end of its life cycle. So it's better to set up something there and bring fiber from there to Pakistan or chips.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rizwan, for the detailed facts on polyester fiber business. Let's move to our second panel discussion. And basically the topic is rebuilding value, sustainability, and circularity in the textile. To moderate this session, I would like to call Mr. Dr. Tanveer Hussain, Rector, National Textile University, Mr. Fredericks Duffels, Global Head of Corporate Affairs Origin, Ms. Ansa Rabia, Complement of Manager GIZ, Mr. Rizwan Afzal, Vice President Commercial LCI, and Mr. Shahid Sattar, Executive Director EPTMA. Please welcome them on stage, everyone.
I please do. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Just to tell you at the start that Mr. Shahid Sattar, Executive Director, EPTMA, was supposed to moderate this session. Since he's not available, so I'm taking his position. So the topic is rebuilding value, sustainability, and circularity in textiles. Let me start with a big picture of this sustainability and circularity. As you all may be aware that there are 17 sustainability development goals. And among these 17 development goals, under these goals, we have 169 targets. And today we have so far touched upon only 2 targets. And one of those is sustainability, which is about reuse of materials in terms of recycling or circularity, what it is called. Now, currently, it is said that every second, almost 1 ton of textile waste is being dumped somewhere. And the value of textile waste, which is dumped every year, is around $400 billion. And this $400 billion is such a high amount that this amount is sufficient to take care of the sustainable development goals of 60 of the poorest nations. So $400 billion worth of textiles is being wasted every year. That is why circularity is very important and sustainability is very important. So I'd like to start with my first panelist from GIZ, and I'll ask her about the salient features of the new EU strategy for sustainable and circular textiles. Please.
So thank you so much, Mr. Tanveer, for starting this. And first of all, I'm really glad and excited to be among the panelists and with all of you. So let me begin with the question, EU strategy on sustainable textiles. So EU strategy on sustainable textiles, Mr. Rizwan just really touched upon that in his presentation. The strategy talks about 4 or 5 key features. And one of them is that we have to ensure that 15%, at least 15% of the products that we are producing, they are using recyclable products or fibers. So the recyclable content has to be at least 15% within the products that we are producing. That's one part. The second important and critical feature is traceability. So we have to trace back to where it is coming, what is it all about, so that the we can trace back to all the elements and we ensure the sustainability content about it. The third important feature about textile EU strategy on sustainable textiles, that is that we have to ensure that the products that are being produced, they are ensured to be in a circular loop. So this is what the EU strategy broadly talks about when we say the latest EU strategy is all about. So I would actually stop here and revert back to you. Thank you.
Just to recap, basically by 2030, it will be mandatory that for every product which will be sold in EU, there must be some percentage of recycled content in it. It will be compulsory. And every product to be sold in EU must be durable, repairable, and recyclable. These are three keywords: recyclable, durable, and repairable. So you need to design products which are more durable. For example, if you are just producing bed sheets, if and it just lasts for 50 washes, they will be requiring those bed sheets which last for 100 washes, for example, 150 washes. So durable products will be more in demand. Repairable products will be more in demand. Recyclable product will be more in demand. Similarly, another key point is extended producer responsibility. That is very much important point. So far, producer is only responsible just at the point of sale. Once the sale has been made, producer's responsibility is finished. But in future, producer responsibility will not finish after selling the product. But the responsibility will continue throughout the life cycle of the product, till the product is used by the customer, and then again, if it is recycled or not. So either the cost of recycling will have to be borne by the producer, or the product should be such that it should be basically durable and should not be less sustainable. So extended producer responsibility is another keyword which we need to remember. And for a passport, third one, sorry. Thank you. My next question is to gentlemen from Oritain. For the sake of our audience, will you please differentiate between the DNA-based traceability solutions and your isotopic traceability solution? What is the major difference?
Sure. So some of the traditional traceability solutions that we've seen in the market, they have an element to them that isotopic testing does not. The reality is about, for isotopic testing, which is what Oritain does, and it's been pioneering since 2008, it's about being able to trace right the way back, all the way to a plant, right the way through. Whereas the DNA, you're less likely to get that. Some of the other traditional traceability methods, sprays, dyes, etc. For us at Oritain, I think, and it's a really interesting point you make around the EU, particularly around the quality and the durability, is when we're working with brands now, what we're also seeing is they want to understand, they understand that quality is going to be a huge impactful point for them. But it's something, as I said earlier in my remarks, that Oritain is something that we're very proud to be able to work with brands that really value those pieces around quality. And it's why isotopic testing is quite so different. So that's what really sets isotopic testing from Oritain apart from others. I think there's one point, if I may, just also, I think it's something, there's one you made in your observations, which I really sort of struck me, which is that brands are key to this. They're a huge part of the mix. And they want to see traceability, they want to see sustainability, they want to see circularity, but they also want to see consistency with what systems they put in place. And I think I love the point that you made that says brands are almost, they dictate where we all go. And it's funny, you know, the brands that we work with, of which there are many household names, they're also really setting apart on what true traceability looks like. And that's you know, why they're using Oritain. I'm sure they're also using your technology as well, which is really, really exciting. It's about being able to show a sort of real focus. Ultimately, it's the end consumer, which is what the European Union regulations are all about. And we're seeing that in the US as well.
Okay, your technology primarily is based on the fact that wherever cotton is grown, cotton gets some trace elements from the soil
Correct,
and the environment.
correct.
Within a
Material
country-
traceability, which
Yeah,
is effectively what
So
governments.
within a country, for example, in Pakistan, we have Sindh region and Punjab region. And some organic cotton we grow in Balochistan, for example. So will your technology be able to differentiate?
Yes.
That this cotton is from Sindh and this from,
Yes.
please tell us something about that.
It is, and let me give you an example just to bring it all to reality. We often put our scientists through blind testing in order to do that, and also various governments and companies, as you would expect, and it's absolutely right that they do the same with us. Pretty much, depending on how the question is asked, you can get to within a couple of meters. We're that close. In fact, we actually did a piece on with some another commodity that I won't disclose, but it was basically across a road, and it's that good that it can tell you that it's there. It's also really important to state, because I've had the question before, and it's a really important point to get to, which is with climate change, which is something that we're all grappling with in the Western world and across the world. Does that mean that your technology then has to evolve, or does it have to change? And the answer is, what we've seen, and we've done the studies even from 25, 30 years ago, the databases are still accurate, and we're building on them all the time. And I think that's what's quite reassuring for us. Is that
How many samples have you collected so far from Pakistan for your database?
I would have to go and check with my scientists. I suspect a fair few.
Are they statistically sufficient?
Yes. So we would stand behind them. It's actually the reason why I'm here. It's the reason that Josh has been here twice in the last 2 months. He loves it so much, he keeps coming back. So thank you for making him feel so welcome. We see Pakistan as a huge market. And as I said in my comments, it's almost unique. And I'm sure many people will come in and say that. But because of the piece we've heard around Xinjiang and around China more broadly, companies have had years of relationships with certain suppliers that they need to move away from. And what they're seeing is they're looking for great alternative partners. They're looking for partners who have vertically integrated supply chains, great traceability, great sustainability, and doing good, positive things, very much adhered to the UN sustainability goals. So Pakistan is a great market for us, and we're really proud to be here. So statistically relevant, absolutely. Wouldn't be here otherwise.
Okay, thank you. One might argue that one of the limitations of your technology may be that it does not trace the recycled cotton.
Yeah,
because it just traces the natural origin of a cotton. But if the same natural origin cotton has been recycled, we cannot identify with your technology whether it's recycled or not.
It's one of the things I was really interested in, actually listening to the comments of others.
So that may be DNA. So we may have to use a combination of DNA technology as well as retain.
I will push back on that a little bit, and I think it's a really, really important point. It's one we're happy to explore, so one-to-one offline. But for us at Oratain, one of the things we always stand behind is the power of the science. You've got to be able to justify that. So our R&D teams is going to actually, as we've heard in other presentations from other speakers, recycled is so important to us. It's actually a next step for us. We're going to be spending probably millions of dollars.
And a follow-up question: is your technology suitable for tracing recycled polyester?
Sorry, I missed the question.
Recycled polyester.
Polyester is a man-made fiber, so I'd have to. I would probably have to inquisite our scientists a little bit more on that one. But some of our more secret R&D elements will get me in trouble if I start disclosing that publicly.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It is awesome. Thank you very much for your excellent presentation earlier. What is the current status and future prospect for fiber-to-fiber recycling in Pakistan? What do you see that?
Fiber to fiber or textile?
Textile to textile.
Textile.
Yeah, fabric to.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I would really like to appreciate Freddie. I learned a lot from his presentation, and I think the traceability part is going to go a long way, and that's the future. Textile to textile recycling, we have, because this is my bread and butter, to produce fiber that I can sell today and tomorrow and in the future. So we have gotten in touch with so many companies that have started their pilots. They have done small interventions. Somebody has come up with a small sample of chips. So far, to our knowledge, there's just one company that has been able to produce some textile to textile recycle chemically product, but they're also struggling with it. Because the problem is, as you just
ask, what do you do? How do you trace it back? You know, how do you prove that it came from textile to textile recycling and not from the PET bottle recycling or not from virgin source? So that's a big challenge because that has to be overcome before we can really say that this has come from textile to textile recycling. So maybe something for you, Freddie, to look at for future reference. Nobody has done it so far, but we know proven technologies. There are plants being set up in Europe, to my knowledge, at least 2, and they are going to start their commercial production in 27, 28. So this is like 3 to 4 years down the line, and it's happening, it's coming. So I do see future, but I think initially it's going to be very challenging how to manage price and cost. Because today, when nobody cares about these textile waste, tomorrow they will start hoarding it. You know, and there's already some element of that that has started to look at it from that perspective. And you wouldn't believe, I know some manufacturer who are looking at 3 years down the line, but they're already starting to stock up waste, textile waste. So I think there are many challenges associated with it, but as we have seen, we have evolved as human and we have the knowledge and now AI and ChatGPT and all these tools to help us progress in the future. I think by 2030, you will have enough, to start getting textile to textile recycled material in the market.
So how do you think we should develop our supply chain for the collection and sorting of post-consumer waste? Because ultimately post-consumer waste is the majority of the waste. And in Pakistan, nothing is actually wasted, and we don't have post-consumer waste in Pakistan because people are not very rich, and if somebody just, nobody throws away the clothes. I think we might have to import waste, post-consumer waste, and then recycle it. What's your take on that?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So we had a discussion multiple times around this, that should we be looking at setting up a manufacturing facility in Pakistan and rely on imports of textiles from other continents, or should we just go and partner with someone who's already setting up a facility in Europe? Because they can collect easily, the availability is easy, and now with more and more awareness, there's going to be a lot of legislation to dump your sort of any textile or any waste across the border. So everybody is going to try to be circular themselves. So in that manner, they can only do circularity or convert it in their own country. And if they do that, the next step is very difficult for them. They can come and convert it into raw material, PTA and MEG, or chips for polyester. But beyond polyester chips, that's where we come into play. So we can import these chips into Pakistan and convert it into fiber and start supplying. And this is where we are most economical and expert. So there are technology partners and then there are manufacturing partners. So I think we have a role after that for the future.
Thank you. Our next guest is expert on cotton. So my question to you, sir, is we just learned today that in USA, every bale of cotton gets tested before it is sold in the market. Why not in Pakistan? Every bale, what are the bottlenecks?
At first, really appreciating TEXtalks and CCI for organizing this wonderful and informative session for the textile industry of the Pakistan. Regarding cotton traceability, I first talk about that when we talk about any industries, there is a very importance of the sustainable supply of the raw material. There is a cotton. While we have a number of issues with the cotton production in the country, when we talk about 2013, we produced 14.5 million bales, while last year we produced only 5 million bales. This is not a sustainable supply. For this, there are a number of issues that one of important is the environmental stresses, that we don't have such varieties which can perform in stress environment. And the yields are reducing from 100 kg per hectare to 500 kg per hectare. That's the farmers are shifted to the other crops. This is one of the big issue. In the other crops, there are corn and the rice, and farmers are getting hybrid seeds, and they increase their yields to up to double. That's why farmers shifted to the corn and the rice. So we have to work on this, that how we can shift from the rice and corn or sugarcane to the cotton. For this, we have to confident the farmers with a good price. For this, we also have to provide the good seeds and the inputs and the pesticides which can work. Right now, APMA has taken this initiative by the establishment of APMA Cotton Foundation in last year, and this year we have started the activities with the help of Punjab government. We have started a campaign at the sowing time, which was very successful, and we have increased about 35% area, which you can see the footprints in this year. Inshallah, we will produce about 9 to 10 million bales with this. Regarding the traceability, we must have to develop some central system from the government side or anybody which can enforce this to all the sectors. While currently all the textile mills are producing their own softwares, own system, which will be increase the cost. I suggest that we should produce a central system for which at first we should develop a software to track the supplies, and the next step we should produce, establish a lab for the DNA and the isotope based studies. Similarly, at the end, we should go for the blockchain traceability. So I have these recommendations so that we can start.
You're also representing APTMA here.
Yeah.
Is APTMA doing anything to introduce a bale identification system in Pakistan, or cotton fiber traceability, or cotton branding in Pakistan, just like US cotton protocol? Why not Pakistan cotton protocol? Is APTMA doing anything?
Yes, we have developed a project on it, and we have submitted to the EDF. And similarly, we have write a letter to the ministry and to call all the stakeholders on that, and to start our own traceability system national wise.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully, soon you will receive a call for this, and we will organize a session for the traceability, and we will also request our industry, which are working on already working on the traceability, to join that session. And after the brainstorming, we will start exactly a very good, like the other international organizations, like the US Trust Protocol, BCIs have also started some traceability pilot projects. We can combine these.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, please.
On this traceability and the cost, I just want to share that it's chicken and egg situation, right? So there's a cost and there's benefit. So in our organization, we have decided to keep it cost neutral. So if you want a traceable fiber, you can buy it at the same price as you are buying a regular fiber, because I don't want the people who want to get into traceable value chain and give the customers the right product to be, disadvantaged at this stage. They need to promote this so that the customer understands and they recognize the value of traceable product, and all the other buyers will also start to get into this. But if from day one you think about the cost and you start to try to make money on it, I don't think that's, in my view, it's a very difficult sell. So I have to absorb this cost for the period of the time till the customers understand the value of it, and then you automatically get that because the orders are going to come through that. Once you have the value chain already lined up with the traceable product, people are not going to ask for a regular product anymore. So I think it's a longer term thing to invest into this kind of.
Thank you. Now, I've asked just one question to you, but everybody else has asked more than one question. So coming back to you, when we talk about sustainability, we usually talk about environmental aspect of sustainability. Would you like to shed some light on the social aspect of sustainability?
For putting that question, because audible. One thing is sustainability is people, environment, and profits. And unfortunately, when we talk about sustainability, we always incline towards the environmental aspect. And we forget about two important pillars which are interconnected and interlinked. And they are the economic aspect as well as the social aspect. And we have seen that to ensure, let me just give you an example with what we have done. So when we're working for labor and social standards compliance for improved working conditions, we witnessed that most of the companies and most of the entrepreneurs within the industry, they think that it is a cost. But unfortunately, the studies that we have done, and it is a news for everyone, that it is not a cost, but it is an investment that is reaped through the initiatives to ensuring that improved and safe working conditions are there, and that would yield not only improved business, improved motivation, but also give you the prospects to make more money, which is the economic pillar of sustainability, and that also ensures the environmental aspect with sustainability. So it is important that whenever we are talking about sustainability, we really need to focus on social as well as environment, and that eventually would yield towards the economic benefit that we want to yield. Just an example that we have had within the experience that we have through the project, we are working for the past 8 years now. Started off with the social standards, and eventually we realized that, social standards improved the working conditions, and improved working conditions yielded to improved business, and we have witnessed 15 to 20% increase in the business for the entrepreneurs just with the change of the social dimension. But at the same time, in 2020, we started working on environmental aspect. And then it is not just about social or environmental, but it is actually the triangulation that yields towards sustainable production, that yield towards the innovation that we're talking about today, that yields towards the change that we aim for. So it is important that whenever we are talking about, or whenever we consider the element of sustainability, we should always work on the 3 pillars, and we should always account for those 3 pillars. That is what I would like to share, and that is what we have experienced over the past 6 to 8 years.
Thank you. Can we take some questions from the audience? Are there any questions? Yes, please. Please introduce yourself and then you can ask your question, please.
Hello, Ehsan here. My question is same which Dr. Tanveer Saab has already asked. If there are 4 different types of cottons, Sindh cotton, Punjab cotton, Indian origin Punjab cotton, and Balochistan cotton, how you will differentiate and trace out which is the origin, as the environmental and climatic conditions are almost same in the region? And secondly, I would like to ask how you will differentiate that this cotton is organic and all the remaining things are not organic ones, please.
Sure. I'm afraid I didn't hear the second question, so if someone could communicate that to me, I'm clearly going deaf, which is worrying at my age. So the first question is around the different types of cotton, just as I understand it. So the different regions, actually, it doesn't make any material difference. Our testing is that a client will come to us and we will collect the samples. We have databases, as I said, across the world, 95% of the world's cotton, and we're increasing that all the time. In terms of actual taking the samples, to maintain the chain of custody, we will have that done, and it actually makes no difference. So it won't, we can pinpoint accuracy, define it by the region, and as I said, in many cases, down to a few meters. And that gives you as a supplier and a client ultimately great traceability of your supply chain, so you can pinpoint it, not just the country, but right the way down to the region, and that normally turns around in just a few days. So a really, really useful point in time. Worth saying, most of our clients are more than sort of 3 years. So as your supply chain evolves, so do we with you. I'm afraid I didn't catch the second question, but if...
the second question was regarding about the organic and non-organic differentiation.
Thank you so much, apologies. So for organic versus non-organic, what we do is we test the physical product in terms of location and region. So that will then allow you to make choices on organic.
I don't think so. It's possible to differentiate between the two. Please.
Can we pick this up one-to-one offline, because I'm afraid I'm struggling to hear the question.
Still, it's not clear how it will be differentiated between this is organic and this is not organic. As the whole cotton region is basically is organic product.
No, it's not something I can speak to at the moment.
There is one possibility that organic cotton will not contain traces of fertilizers or traces of pesticides. So other cotton may contain these traces. So this might be one point of differentiation using this technology. But there are other technologies as well.
Thank you.
Organic cotton should not contain any inorganic matter or GMO seeds, which is the BT seed. This should be a non-BT and have all contents are organic.
Next question, please.
I want to re-put the question which Sir Tanvir Sahab asked, that how it is possible to collect the post-consumer waste to enter in the text-to-text, because majority of our product available are blended product. So how you will segregate the polyester from that parts?
I'm terribly sorry. I'm really struggling to hear these questions. So can we pick this up on genuinely one-to-one? I really can't hear what you're saying. I'm so sorry. I'm obviously it's quite accurate.
I put it again that all the available post-consumer products are the blended product. How you can segregate the polyester from that?
Oh, blend products. Sorry. Yes, now with you. So the answer is, in terms of blended products, between a blend between cotton and other products, it doesn't, again, make any difference. We can extract the cotton fiber and ensure that you can see exactly where the cotton comes from, right the way down to a few meters. Hopefully that clarifies your question.
To enter in the text-to-text is possible practically in Pakistan?
Yes.
How you will, Mr. Rizwan can answer it, that how they will segregate it.
It will only, the technology will work, that it will allow you to test between, for the cotton elements of it, and then you've got the other man-made fibers.
Not clear.
Okay.
It's really challenging to separate blended fabric. That is why it is expected in future that the demand of blends may decline and demands of pure fiber may increase in future. Similarly, for example, if you have to recycle a trouser, for example, it should be very easy to separate the zipper, for example, and buttons, for example, before putting the used trousers into the shredder machine. So that means you have to increase the recyclability. Your product should be designed in such a way that it should be easier for the recycler. Minimum steps should be involved. So you may have to rethink about blending, you may have to rethink about designing your products and everything in future.
I think it is a difficult story.
It's a difficult, because they're talking about design for sustainability. That means you have to address the problem at the design stage. When you conceive a product, you should conceive it in such a way that at the end of the day, it is easy to recycle it, it is easy to repair it, and it is durable. So at the design stage, you have to consider these factors.
Thank you.
Yeah, eco-design, yes.
Hello, this is Khalid Mahmood. I just want to repeat the question of Mr. Ehsan regarding the organic and non-organic. Is there any test by which we can 100% ensure this cotton is organic or this cotton is non-organic? Because last year I tested in the lab, one cotton was 100% declared non-organic cotton, Pakistani. Second was Turkish organic cotton, that yarn was made in Pakistan. The third sample was Egyptian organic cotton. The sample was sent from Europe. I just wanted to test whether I can test this is whether this is organic or not. We did about 50 tests in the TTA laboratory, and all the tests were declared that this is 100% the same we cannot find anything regarding organic and non-organic. And especially this yarn was mercerized and bleach yarn. So my question is, maybe it is possible that in gray yarn or gray cotton, is it possible to test the organism of the yarn and cotton, but when we process this cotton, then how we can check the GMO of that cotton? Please explain.
GMO, please, sir.
For this, we at first we should go for that from the which fiber you have to produce DNA or not. In Pakistan, we don't have a single lab which can extract DNA from the fiber. While in the other countries, there are many labs which are working on this. And then after the DNA extraction, we can go for its PCR, that how much type of the organic or inorganic is there. I think in your testing, there must be some contamination. If the 4 types of the organic declared cottons are now the inorganic, so please check your test again. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nasir. I have a question that for this organic testing purpose, let's say some cotton is being sold as organic, and further the yarn has been made and then garment and everything. There are so many process. This particular organic cotton is going from. Like it can include at the dyeing stage some chemicals or like that. Is there any way we can find out that the pest, let's say for example, if a garment find a pest inside that organic garment, and is there any way we can find out that actually the pest came at the time of is it at the time of farming or at the time of processing further?
I think the best approach is to trace the cotton right from the farm till the end. So that is why traceability is important at every step on the way. And traceability is based upon primarily 2 different approaches. One is if naturally some traceable element is present in the material, you can identify it by some instrumental technique. But sometimes some traceable content is already not present. For example, if you have a recycled cotton or recycled polyester, then you apply a tracer. You apply a DNA marker, for example. You spray a DNA marker on recycled polyester, and that has good fastness to every process through which it goes. Even after making the garment, you can trace back that DNA material which you already applied yourself. So sometimes you apply yourself a traceable element in order to trace or track, and sometimes it is naturally present. Origin technology is based on isotopic analysis, based on the trace elements which are naturally present. But if you want to trace the, for example, recycled material or for maybe organic or anything which does not contain any natural traceable thing, then you have to apply. These physical tracers are available, which you apply during spinning or before spinning, for example. You spray it, you pass the fibers under some spray things, and that new DNA or tracer element is attached. That does not alter the physical properties of the fiber, and it has good fastness, and even after washing and garmenting, it stays in there. So that is one way to trace.
Actually, there is a, let me share one of the experience we had. I'm selling organic cotton into Pakistan to various spinning mills. Once when the organic cotton is being sold, so the supplier side, the supplier is providing a pest test certificate. Pest test certificate for non-availability of pest in that particular cotton. And when the yarn was spun, And further, the yarn was tested. There was some pest found. I don't exactly remember the name of that pest, but that's actually what happened.
They actually GOTS, Global Organic Textile Standard, they have developed in the entire protocol and procedure through which you can assure the authenticity of organic origin. That's not a problem. If that protocol is properly followed, according to GOTS, you can authenticate organic material. That is not a problem. It's not only for textiles, because there are many non-textile products which are claimed organic. For example, organic fruit, organic vegetables. So traceability systems for organic products are available all over the world and they are authentic. So in your case, there might be some maybe mistakes, some maybe adulteration or something like that. But these protocols are authentic, they're available, and not only for textile, but also for organic vegetables, or organic meat, and organic other things. That's not a problem.
Thank you.
If there's no more question, then thank you all very much.
There is one.
There's one? Okay.
Hello, I'm Iman.
Last question.
As you mentioned that there are 3 pillars that need to be integrated into businesses, not only environmental sustainability, but socio-cultural sustainability and economic sustainability. And I'm currently learning this in school. It's called the triple bottom line theory. You probably know that. But while I know what environmental sustainability and socio-cultural sustainability is, could you give me a quick overview of what economic sustainability is?
I just informally introduced the word profits, because when we talk about economic sustainability pillar, it's more about the economic side of the business. It's about the profits, the business, and all these aspects, which are associated with the economic pillar of sustainability. So the 3 pillars are interconnected and they are dependent on one another. So without the one, you cannot achieve the other. And all of them are interconnected, interdependent, and they yield the results if the 3 pillars are connected and move towards, because what is the idea behind having sustainability? The idea is to ensure that we as to have a strong grip on the environmental aspect, to ensure that the climate change is safeguarded, to make sure that people who are the major pillar are safeguarded. So to make sure and the business is governed by profits, which is the main part. So if we connect the 3 pillars, then we would be able to ensure that, we are doing and we are providing sustainable business practices are there, and we are ensuring that business is achieved and run in a way that is healthy for the environment, for the people, and also ensure business outcomes.
Thank you so much.
So I'll just add one point, that with economic aspect, we also mean that economic benefit of a business should also be shared with the workers as well. So it's also about elimination of poverty, elimination of hunger, and equal distribution of wealth. So to raise the living standard of the poor people or the workers as well.
Yeah.
So that is also in the economic aspect of sustainability.
That's true, because socio-economic development is basically, we are aiming for, it's not just about the business, but it's also about, that's why, the social part is connected with economic, because we are talking about business and we are also talking about social. And socio-economic development along with environmental sustainability is what would change and move us towards the jump the curve philosophy, moves us towards the race to the top rather than race to the bottom. And that is why this entire conversation and this entire dialogue and this entire conference is also focused on circularity and sustainability, because that is what we are doing.
Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for all the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our moderator and panelists.
I think I have a presentation now.
You have to stay.
So it's time for another very interesting presentation on application of artificial intelligence in textile. And for that, we have none other than Professor Dr. Tanveer Hussain, Rector, National Textile University, Pakistan. Thank you, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much for being with me. My topic of the presentation is application of artificial intelligence in textile and clothing industry. Let's start with a statistic. Worldwide investment in digital transformation is estimated to be $6.8 trillion by the end of this year. And this is according to Harvard Business Review. So all over the world, a lot of investment is being done in digital transformation of every aspect of life under Industry 4.0. Now, there are many technologies which enable digital transformation of businesses. And these include Internet of Things, Internet of Services, Internet of People, Internet of Data. By Internet of Things, we mean that all the machinery and equipment have IP addresses and they are interconnected. All the services of a business are interconnected through networking. All the people are interconnected. All the data within an organization and with the stakeholders is interconnected. And you use cloud computing. You have put your data safely somewhere on the cloud. You utilize big data analytics to get insight and make good decisions. You use blockchain for traceability and other things. You use artificial intelligence, you use augmented reality and virtual reality. You use cybersecurity to secure your data. You make use of data visualization, dashboards. You have automation and robotics, simulation and modeling, e-commerce and digital twins. These are all enabling technologies for digital transformation, and artificial intelligence is at the heart of it, and this is one of these technologies. So if we want to digitally transform our organizations, we need to embrace all these technologies, otherwise we will be left behind. Now, this is the man, John McCarthy, who should be credited for artificial intelligence. He coined the term artificial intelligence in 1955, actually. And since then, much has been done in the field of artificial intelligence. My first publication on artificial intelligence was in 2003, about 20 years back. When I was doing PhD in UK, I published a paper, a review paper on the application of artificial intelligence in color and textile industry with my co-supervisor, with my PhD supervisor, Renzo Shami, who is currently at North Carolina State University. Over the last 20 years, much has been changed in the artificial intelligence realm. So what we will discuss today is just tip of the iceberg. So just to give you a broader overview, what is AI? AI just is a branch, one of the branches of computer science, which deals with the systems which can do tasks which are usually associated with human intelligence. And there are many branches of artificial intelligence. There are many technologies or many areas which come under the heading of artificial intelligence. Some of those are speech synthesis. For example, from text, you can generate speech. You can use AI to convert a book into an audio book for those who cannot read, or for making a training material for your workers, for example. Natural language generation. This ChatGPT comes under this natural language generation. Robotic process automation. Robotics also come under the umbrella of artificial intelligence. Control of other systems through APIs also come under this. Case-based reasoning or decision support systems and expert systems also come under the umbrella of this. And my PhD was about developing an expert system for troubleshooting problems in dyeing. So I was working on expert system. So that was just one area. Recommender system, product recommender systems, which product should one should buy. For example, when you go to Amazon, they recommend you system. When you go to Netflix, they recommend you movies. All these recommender systems are based on AI. Data mining, deep learning, reinforcement learning, unsupervised learning, supervised learning, these are all under the umbrella of AI. Then we have natural language understanding, machine translation, translation from one language to another automatically with the use of AI, sentiment analysis. For example, if you are having some comments on your tweets or some comments or feedback on your product on Dras, you can analyze sentiment analysis of the customers who are giving you feedback with the help of AI. Then speech recognition, then handwriting recognition, optical character recognition, image and video recognition for fault defect, for example, facial recognition. So AI is a branch of computer science, but still AI is too big. So it's very hard to cover every area of AI in one presentation. But this slide is very important. Why we should bother about AI? This is a McKinsey report, consulting firm. They say that with the invention of internet, productivity of the people overall in the world increased by 10%. With the invention of steam power, productivity increased by 25%. With the invention of electricity, productivity increased in the world 35%. And with the AI, productivity will increase up to 50%. So if we don't embrace AI, our productivity will be half of those who will use AI. So that is how much important AI is. And we know already that we are not very good in productivity in textiles in many areas. So productivity is increased. That is why all over the world, progressive countries are investing in AIs. Over the last 10 years, in USA alone, 4,643 new AI-based companies have been come to the surface. In China, you can say a lot of number. In India, 296. Private investment, not the government investment, private investment in USA on AI is $249 billion. In India, $8 billion. In Pakistan, we don't see any investment in the AI sector. This is very, very important sector. Now, it will be very difficult to cover all the areas. I will just cover these areas. Artificial intelligence, and under this we have machine learning, and under machine learning we have deep learning, and under deep learning we have generative AI. And under generative AI we have ChatGPT, and you're all aware of ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is a subclass or an application, you can say, of generative AI, which is one small segment of AI umbrella. So AI is too much. And this generative AI can generate text, images, videos, etc., etc. You can give input in the form of text, voice, or images. You can have output as a text, image, video, 3D, audio interfaces. So all these types of AI come under the umbrella of generative AI. Now, Netflix took 3.5 years to get 1 million users. Airbnb, 2.5 years to get 1 million users. Facebook, 10 months. Instagram, 5 months. iPhone, 574 days. And generative AI just took 5 days to get 1 million users. That is how much important it has become. And generative AI is just, I've told, it's a very small segment of the AI. Only generative AI has more than 60 use cases across many domains, at minimum 13 domains. This is according to McKinsey, but I think there are more use cases also. So we'll quickly go through these use cases. How these use cases work, that will require another presentation. So I can just say what this generative AI can do How does it do? That requires another presentation. So we can use it in marketing and advertising for generating content for ad campaigns, for personalized marketing messages, for creative ad designs, for A/B testing of 2 different products, for customer segmentation, for targeted ads. So your marketing and advertising department, if they learn generative AI, their productivity will enhance. These are some of the use cases. Similarly, content generation. You can write articles, blogs, training materials, or SOPs for your workers. You can write video scripts for your video ad, audio, you can generate audios, you can generate videos for training purpose of your workers. You can generate images for designs, etc. You can use it for graphic design, you can use it for social media post generation, email newsletter content, etc. For product development, you can use generative AI for making 3D models of your products, product design variations, prototype generation, designing of your packages, naming or identifying or coming up with new brand names of your products, or making logos in a matter of seconds. You can use this for your customer stores. You can make AI-based chat bots. You can use it for ticket or customer request categorization. You can generate automatically frequently asked questions about your organizations or about your product. You can do sentiment analysis of customer feedbacks. You can use voice-based customer service or virtual assistants on your websites for customer support. In industry, you can use it for image analysis in order to identify defects. You can do text analysis. For example, there's a long manual, for example, of a machine, and you can train ChatGPT to be able to answer your questions from your own documents. So you can fine-tune ChatGPT based on your own company's data. So ChatGPT is a general model. You can take that model, you can fine-tune that model, or you can adapt it, or you customize it with your own company's own data. You can use it for record summarization, data analytics, simulation of product scenarios, etc. You can use it for fraud detection in finance, algorithmic trading strategy. For example, we buy stocks, and generative AI can give you intelligent advice for buying stocks. Credit scoring, financial report generation, risk assessment. In e-commerce, you can use it for product recommendations, virtual try-ons, price optimization, customer review summarization, inventory management, in supply chain management for demand forecasting, route optimization, quality control, inventory management, supplier relationship analysis. In HR, you can automatically screen resumes. Amazon, for example, if Amazon has a job, then millions of people may apply, and they automatically scan the resumes. Google automatically scan the resume. They don't have time to just read all the resumes. So candidate matching, employees onboarding and training, employee engagement analysis, employee performance evaluation, all these things can be done with generative AI coupled with some other elements of AI. Language translation, from one to another, gaming is not relevant to us, personalized learning paths for different workers, automated grading, content creation for online courses, adaptive learning systems for specific needs of different types of workers, language learning apps, etc. Summarization of legal documents. You can design contract and review it. You can get legal research assistance, etc., etc. So these are some of the use cases. Facial recognition you can use for access control to your site or specific areas of your site. Automatic attendance of your workers just through facial recognition. Speech recognition, you can make your equipment controllable through speech. Just you say to an equipment, turn on, and it will turn on. You will say to your equipment, slow down, it will slow down. So you can control your machines with your voice. Image recognition, it is about defect detection. You can automatically on machine with the help of AI. It's not generative AI, it's other type of AI. You can use it for defect detection. Similarly, for woven fabrics, this is AI-based fabric inspection system. You can forecast future trends. Fashion trends are being forecasted by using AI. Color trends are being forecasted with the help of AI. So forecasting of every type can be done with the help of it. You can generate designs just by writing a prompt. Just as you write prompt to write an email through ChatGPT, you can just write a prompt that I want a design which should be floral, it should have these properties. You just write and then there will be a design. So maybe you may have less requirement of graphic designers or other type of designers. Similarly, for clothing design, you have AI-powered fashion design generators. You just make a sketch of a thing and AI automatically converts into a photo from a sketch, from a hand sketch. Automatically a photo can be generated with the help of AI. Similarly, you can make artificial models. These models are not real humans. You may try a website which is called thispersondoesnotexist.com, and all the images of persons on that website are artificial. Those persons in reality do not exist. These models do not exist. Many companies in the world are using artificial models which do not exist. These are a few examples of text to art generators. These are tools. You just write a text, they will generate art and design of every type. Similarly, clothing design. In garment cutting, there's a lot of waste. You can minimize waste with the use of AI. This is IntelliCut system is one example of AI-based marker which assures maximum utilization of the fabric in the cutting section of the garment. Similarly, there are AI-based intelligent retail automation systems available, AI-based styling agent assistants available on different websites. And then, according to McKinsey, they surveyed different people, and people said that more than 20% cost was decreased in human resources. 4% people said more than 20%, 10% people said more than 10 to 19%, and 26% said up to 10%, and 40% did not use any AI at all. So with the use of AI, you can reduce costs in human resources, manufacturing, marketing and sales. This survey was done in an industry advanced country where people have adopted AI in different departments, human resource, manufacturing, marketing, etc. And you can see they have managed to reduce the cost. They are running these departments with less number of people. Similarly, they have increased revenue. So they have surveyed different organizations which have adopted this technology. They have also increased the revenue in all these different areas with the adoption of AI. Another field of AI is machine learning and deep learning. And this machine learning and deep learning is used for the classification of defects, text, images. For example, you can identify yarn defects with AI, weaving defects with AI, knitting defects, dyeing defects, printing defects, garment defects. Of course, you will have to have a camera. Some AI-based systems already available in the market. They may be expensive. You can also develop prediction models. This is very important. Every textile mill has historical data about the processes and the products. For example, a spinning mill has data of cotton fibers they buy and the data of the yarn they produce, properties of the yarn they produce and the cotton properties of cotton they buy. So you can predict yarn properties from fiber properties. For example, if you're mixing one type of cotton with another type of cotton and they have different properties, with the AI, you can predict what will be the property of the resultant yarn, for example, ring yarn of this count or if you, for example, if you change the parameters of spinning, how would the properties change? So based on the historical data, which you have already collected in your mill, you can develop a model, and for future, you can make the predictions. Similarly, from yarn properties, you can predict fabric properties. Similarly, you can also do predictive maintenance. Many of the machines which are coming these days from Europe, they also have predictive maintenance mechanism, which is based on AI. So AI can predict when a part will need replacement. So based on historical data, they develop a model, and then you can have predictive maintenance. And then if you do predictive maintenance, then there'll be less shutdowns, more productivity. Similarly, you can develop forecasting models for forecasting market demand, for forecasting color, fashion, prices, cash flows, sales, revenues. All these forecasting systems can be developed based on AI. Now, this is just an example of a video. Sorry, can you play it from there?
Introducing the sustainable denim revolution.
This video
Sustainable denim is not just a trend.
in less than 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes.
By choosing sustainable denim, you're making a positive impact on the environment. Experience the comfort and quality of sustainable denim. Join the sustainable fashion movement and be a part of the change. Sustainable denim is not just about style, it's about making a difference. Choose sustainable denim and contribute to a greener future. Join the sustainable denim revolution today.
So you just tell the system that I need a video which should have this, this, this. It will automatically generate the video transcript. It will automatically search for the appropriate videos from the internet, and it will automatically do the voiceover, and then it will generate video just under 5 minutes. This is another example. This website is not on now, it is under process. This will tell you how you can generate innovative ideas using AI. This website has many tools. With these tools, you can create user personas. User personas actually are your ideal customers, and you use these things whenever you need to innovate or develop a product. First step is to empathize with the consumer or customer, to know your needs. In order to empathize with customer, you have different tools available. Unfortunately, in Pakistan, we mostly produce our products in a reactive mode. We just get specifications and we just produce according to specifications. We rarely innovate. But when you have to innovate, you first have to understand end users or customers' requirement. And those who innovate, they start from this step, empathizing with the customer. And there are different tools. One tool is create user persona, customer journey mapping, another tool, empathy map, etc., etc. So this site will help you in empathizing with the customers. Similarly, there are tools. By using these tools, you can identify or better understand a customer's problem. Similarly, there are tools. Using these tools, you can create innovative ideas. For example, there's one tool, and that tool will give you more than 100 innovation tactics. We usually believe that innovation is only about a product. No, there are 10 dimensions of innovation. And product dimension is just one dimension of those 10 dimensions. And under these 10 dimensions, there are 112 tactics for innovation. But we don't know all these tactics. We just focus on just one aspect, that we know that we have to do some innovation in products. So this tool can tell you 100 different ways to innovate your business. It may be innovation idea, maybe related with your organizational setup, maybe it's related with your sales, marketing, it may be related with your HR. So there are many different areas where you can innovate, not just the product. So let me give you an example. With this tool, I just write in the box that I want to create a user persona of a denim user. Suppose I want to create a denim, or I want to do some innovation in denim. I want to know what are different categories of denim users, what are different segments of denim customers, and how do they think about denim, so that I design right product for the right segment. So this persona development tool will help me with that. In this example, I've just created one persona. So after generation of the persona, this tells you that there is a persona or customer type which is fashion forward urbanite. It gives you your demographics. It gives you the personality. It gives you the goals and ambitions of that persona. It gives you values and motivations. It gives you a job to be done, typical user scenario. It gives you functional needs and desires of that persona. She needs fashionable denim clothing option across limited, these are different things. So you can see fashionable denim options, access to limited edition. These are easy online shopping experience to feel. Emotional needs are to feel confident. Top 3 challenges and pain points of this persona are limited availability of unique and on-trend denim option, difficulty finding in right fit and style and her body type, time constraints to exploring various brands. Key reasons to buy for this type of persona is Sarah's key reason to buy and use denim product is to stay fashionable and make a style statement. What property in the denim will make a deal for her? Offering limited edition to exclusive denim. So this is one persona. You can create 5 different segments of personas, 5 different types of denim users, and then you can design your product for the right type of persona. So this is just one tool to understand the need of your customers. With the help of AI, just you put in the box the name of the product and click, and then it will create this persona. And you can create 10 personas, 10 different types of users, end users. Similarly, now you want to create innovative ideas for denim. There are many tools. For example, here you can see ideate using brain writing, ideate using trees, ideate using out-of-box thinking, ideate using attribute listing. I'm using just one tool, Scamper tool. So using this Scamper tool, I want to generate ideas for innovation in denim. So let's see. Here's the response. 3 ideas in Scamper stands for, S is for substitute, C is for combine. So in substitute, it has given me 3 innovation ideas. Substitute traditional denim with a sustainable and eco-friendly alternative such as hemp or bamboo fiber to reduce the environmental impact. Second, substitute the conventional leather patch on denim jean with a patch made from recycled materials or a biodegradable alternative to promote sustainability. Third, substitute the traditional denim dyeing process with a natural dyeing method using plant-based or organic dyes, etc. So 3 ideas with respect to substitution. Then 3 ideas with respect to combine. Combine denim with wearable technology, integrating sensors or smart fabrics to create denim garment with a built-in health monitoring or activity tracking capability. Innovation idea. Combine denim with 3D printing technology to create customizable denim jeans that perfectly fit the wearer's body shape and preferences. Third combine idea. Combine denim with sustainable fashion practices, collaborating with local artisans and indigenous communities to incorporate unique handicrafted elements into the denim design. So you can see many of these ideas are practicable ideas, not just theoretical. AI has generated these ideas. Now, 3 ideas about adapt. Scamper, S for substitute, C for combine, A for adapt. Adapt the concept of denim on demand by implementing a personalized denim design service where customers can customize their jeans through an online platform and have them made to order, reducing waste and ensuring a perfect fit. ये adapt की माध्यम से idea दे दिया, innovative idea. Adapt the sharing economy model to denim by creating a denim rental service, allowing customers to rent high quality denim. You know, in Europe and America, there are clothing rental services. वहाँ कपड़े rent पे बिकते हैं. जो बहुत महंगे brand की jeans हैं, very expensive brands, they are available on rent. और शादी के लिए शोशा किसी ने डालनी है तो वो मिल जाते हैं. So rental services, we never think of these ideas. Adapt the principles of circular economy to denim production by implementing a denim recycling program where old and worn out denim garments are collected and transferred. So similarly, ideas about modify. Scamper. M is for modify. Modify the functionality of denim by integrating hidden pockets or compartments for secure storage of personal belongings, offering convenience and enhance. Modify the size and shape of the denim to modify the coloration process of the denim. Similarly, put to other use. So you can see 7 into 3, 21 ideas just in 1 minute. This AI tool has generated. And this is just one tool. And many of these ideas are workable. So this is how AI is transforming things. Those people who will use these tools will be more productive. For example, usually for genetic ideas, we do brainstorming. 5, 6 people together do brainstorming. This will do brainstorming in just seconds. Then your task is just to refine the ideas. There are also tools, they can evaluate ideas, give you pros and cons of each idea. So you can use AI, for example, these are 21 tools, you can use AI to compare these ideas and evaluate the feasibility of these ideas. Now, thank you very much. This website is not on, will be on, so I got a glimpse of it. It is under the making, it will be on maybe during the next week. Thank you all very much. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask. Yes, please.
Pleasure to hear you, sir.
Thank you.
Will AI be able to tell us what changes are coming in fashion industry, or merely AI is based on historical data? Any change or any trend which are coming in the fashion industry after the span of 2 or 3, will AI be able to tell us these kind of trends, or just AI is based on historical data which has been fed into it?
Based on historical data to date, AI is able to predict the future. Right. So prediction may not always be right, but it can tell you, it can make a scenario for you, what will possibly happen in the next 3 years, what will possibly happen in the next 10 years. It can give you projections. For example, it has access to data, whatever is available on the internet. It knows what is happening in different technology areas. In all technology areas, what is happening right now, the model is aware. Now, based on that, it does some forecasting. And that forecasting, I think, will be, to much extent, will be very correct. Because I have just tried this tool a bit. I think it is making predictions. Predictions are never always right, but it can give you much educated, intelligent predictions.
So, sir, AI can be redundant for 2 guys if they are searching on a similar subject. Can it become redundant if same prospects are being searched by me and by any another guy?
No. When you write a prompt to get something done by GPT, the way you write the prompt is very important. Okay. So even if 1 or 2 letters in the prompt are different, the response will be different. So prompt engineering is a new science. So if you want to get good results from ChatGPT or other things like that, you need to know how to do prompt engineering, how to design your prompt. So response to everyone will be different. And then after taking the general AI model from the ChatGPT, you can fine tune it, giving your own data. For example, AI is a general purpose tool. You want to make a specific tool for textile denim, for example. Then you give it more data about the denim, specific data. That data you may collect maybe from different sources yourself. It may be your own data, your own mills data, maybe some specific organizations data which are not available in the internet. Then you can refine that model, and that will make your model stand out from the general ChatGPT.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
for a fascinating futuristic approach. Thank you so much, Dr. Tanvi. And now it's time for our last panel discussion. And the topic is futuristic trade approach, the next generation of the textile industry. To moderate this session, I would like to call Harun Elahi Sheikh, CEO, Nagina Group, Mr. William Campbell, Executive Vice President and COO, Cotton Incorporated, Mr. Anis M. Khwaja, Director, Mahmood Group, MG Apparel, Ms. Resham Shahzad, CEO, Arshad Group, and Mr. Faisal Javed, Director, Beam Textile. And we have two other gentlemen who are going to join us online, Dr. Oliver, Director, ITMF, Switzerland, and Dr. David, Strategic Garment Planner, World Bank Group. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the futuristic trade approach, the next generation of the textile industry. My name is Harun Elahi, and I'm glad to be moderating this panel discussion. So, Mr. William, the world is in a great flux. There is an immense amount of change taking place in our world, and the company you represent and the sort of technological advancements that are happening in the world, what would you say are the top 3 global trends to keep an eye out on in 2023 and 2024?
Wow. I'd like to use that scraper tool that the professor was just talking about. That could answer the question.
Yes, that would be fantastic.
No, but in all honesty, that was a very compelling presentation. I think that artificial intelligence is definitely one of the driving factors right now.
Yes.
And I think trying to figure out exactly how to utilize that tool to the best of our ability. It obviously is a very powerful tool and can do a lot of predictive measures, but there's also some missing elements to it as well. I mean, I don't think that it can necessarily dive into consumers and understand them as well as some of the factors that we have, person to person.
So AI is one of them, and the other two?
The other two, I would say, still continuing, would be, I would say, circularity is going to be very, very critical. We continue to get pounded by both consumers and also by the brands on this trend. It's something that is very important for the environment going forward. And then third one I would say is still going to be, I'll go back to innovation. This is an industry where we are built on innovation, finding new products, new technologies, and it's something that is a real foundation and we need to continue to work on.
Wonderful. I think those are excellent answers. Khwaja, Anis, and Resham, I would like to ask both of you, what do you think with regard to the latest trends in sustainability and how the global economy, and especially Pakistan, can stand to benefit from the global sustainability drive?
So what we've seen right now, and what we've been in discussion since afternoon, is sustainability is a buzzword. It's been going on for a while now. And we've also seen that, of course, we're talking about environmental sustainability in the past, but what we have seen, we've received the next new trends for next year as well from Heim Textile, and we've seen that it's not just sustainability on the environment, but we're also talking about in products as well, not just organic products and what we have currently in the market, like recycled polyester or global organic, but we're also focusing on products like new plant-based textiles, and such as like we also focus. There are studies going on, and we already have a finished product in banana fiber now.
Yes.
Interloop has actually successfully made a yarn out of banana fiber, so we've already seen that. There also has been products made out of pineapple fiber as well.
Yes.
So there are more things apart from cotton and recycled polyester that are also in market that we're looking at. And the thing that the world is actually looking at is as well that what kind of fibers or what kind of in your technology that you can infuse in your fibers, not just applications on your products.
That's very well explained.
But you can also, have on a more permanent kind of thing.
That's wonderful. Anis, how would you answer that? And what does sustainability mean for your company? Great.
Thank you, Harun. I think I would want to address the topic of sustainability at a macro level, because we all keep talking about the circular economy. We keep talking about how we're going to make sure that we're not putting back a lot of our products back into the Mother Earth. But my view is that sustainability is a much bigger topic, and we're talking about sustainable human beings. We're talking about sustainable people. So when I look at textiles and I look at especially the value-added industry in Pakistan and the kind of people and especially women were employed in this sector. So when we put in a concept of sustainability, we all do this. We're working with the ICI for recycled polyester. My VP Jawad Mushtaq is here. We've done on colored cotton rather than dyeing the cotton. We have millions of fibers which are around, but the real impact is when you're educating each and every of your employee and you're telling them that why sustainable is important and how they go back and educate their own family as well. So we need to take a step further, and we need to stop just doing it because we're trying to do it because of the brands or the requirements. This is something that we need as a nation, as the population of the world.
That's very well explained, Anis. I really appreciate your explanation. Faisal Bhai, welcome. You recently went to the US on a field tour and also went to Brazil, and you saw the development of the US Genesis and the US Trust Protocol. And in Brazil, you saw the changes that are happening with regard to the BCI Plus program coming. So as Managing Director of Dean Group, how do you see the shift in sustainability coming in both these countries? What sort of opportunities does that create for your company?
Thank you, Harun. It was a very nice, informative visit when I went to America. And when I was in Brazil, you was also with me. So we had a wonderful time over there. Yeah. Definitely, countries are progressing when they are moving towards sustainable cotton and they are moving towards better certification. And with time, it is requirement to move towards sustainable cotton. Even if I see in my group, in Dean Textile Mills, the requirement for sustainable cotton is increasing day by day. And I think it will become requirement for everyone to enter into these fields. And whenever our buyer is asking, he's asking for sustainable cotton. So we need to increase our exposure and we need to give awareness. Like what I have seen in America and Brazil, they are also promoting sustainable cotton. So I think this concept should also take place in Pakistan.
That's a very, very good answer. Moving over to Oliver. Oliver, are you with us?
Yes, hello.
David, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Right, till the technical team gets them online. We cannot hear him. Right, moving back to Mr. William, what do you think is one of the biggest changing dynamics with regard to research and development taking place in the field of cotton in US? With regard to its quality and its developments and aesthetics?
Well, from the research side, I think that there's, well, a couple of different buckets. You certainly have the agricultural side, a lot of research and science that's going on there from not only the practices that are being implemented in the field, but also a lot of research at the breed level. So looking at ways to make cotton fiber longer, make cotton fiber stronger, ways to make it finer while keeping it very mature. I think that these are very critical elements as far as making cotton enhancing the performance of the fiber. So a lot of things at the field level on the sustainability side of things, but also at the breeding level on the fiber performance side. And then you've got the big manufacturing bucket. And, you know, in talking about sustainability, there's a lot of work that's being conducted there to reduce reduce the footprint of production. That's a huge, huge impact and strain on the environment. So looking at ways to find safer chemistries, find ways to reduce water, find ways to reduce energy, find ways to reduce chemistry, also during the manufacturing process.
Absolutely, William. Like I believe Anis, Faisal and Resham will join me in saying that the quality and the qualitative aspects which American cotton provides, especially with regards to its SFI and overall characteristics, is one of the reasons Pakistan loves American cotton. So we wish you well in that journey, and you must keep up the research and development to ensure that we can continue to buy American cotton, which is a quality product. Yes. Mazhar, how are we doing on the time? We have another 5 minutes. Yeah, Anis, would you like to add something?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
David, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Hi, David. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Welcome to Pakistan digitally. We're very happy to have you here. Next time you should be here in person.
I hope so.
Sorry? I hope so, yes. We look forward to seeing you. So, David, what are the requirements of brands changing with the passage of time, keeping in perspective different methods of strategies? And what are the key strengths you see going forward for a country like Pakistan and the potential for Pakistan?
We have to understand that the industry, the garment industry, is shrinking. There are now too many stores chasing too few consumers. And the result is we have too many factories chasing too few stores. The industry is becoming much more competitive, and it is changing radically into a new industry. And the new industry will have less interest in FOB price and greater interest in quality, design, understanding the needs of the customer and the consumer. Pakistan is unique. It has something special. You have a collaborative society. We live in a world which is highly competitive, which our industry started with a competitive industry where the customers, the retailers, had a zero-sum game with the factories. Every year reduced FOB prices. There was a time when buyers used to sit around in the evening congratulating one another on a factory they banked. That's changed. It changed in the 1970s with Zara, H&M, who recognized the need to work with the factory to develop new ideas because they themselves could not solve the problems. We are now moving into a new era where the customers and the factories will be joining in a partnership. To do that, there has to be a culture of people working together. Pakistan has that, and doesn't have to build it. Pakistan relationships between the garment industry, the textile industry, is very cooperative. The relation, yes.
David, thank you so much. Those are very clear and concise thoughts. Oliver, are you with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oliver, it's nice to have you here digitally. We'd like to know, in your position at the ITMF, what you think about collaboration between different industries which are allied in the textile sector, and what the ITMF can provide in this global change.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that international organizations such as the ITMF play a crucial role in these regards. For example, the main role is information dissemination. It's exactly what you are talking in your event. It's informing people about what's happening, what can be done, what cannot be done, what is accepted, what cannot be accepted. And I think the way to structure the information and to give it back to the industry in this very fragmented industry in terms of countries, in terms of region and the different segment of the value chain is very, very important. So for example, ITMF, so it's 120 years during which we have built a worldwide network in the textile industry, and we now cover about 90% of textile manufacturers indirectly through our members. And an example, I wrote down here 2 examples for you to understand. One in the topic of social responsibility and labor practice that Anis mentioned before. We have successfully helped SLCP to roll out its social and labor convergence program to drastically reduce audit fatigue at factory level. So that's one concrete example where organization can help factories. Another one, we have teamed up with the university, the Textile Technology University of Aachen in Germany, to develop a series of webinars on the topic was circular textile economy. And we discussed the political backgrounds, the sustainable value chain, recycling strategies, and finally, strategy to transforming to a circular industry. What does it mean for companies and businesses? So we had more than 30 professionals from the industry, research center, government body that work together on this topic. And I think this is another very important example for of what an international organization can do.
Thank you, Oliver, for those extremely insightful thoughts. In the future, we'll look forward to learning more from you. All right, I think that marks the end of our panel discussion. We would like to thank CCI, TEXtalks, Mr. Mazhar, William, and the whole team for pulling off this phenomenal and transformational event in Pakistan this year. And we wish you well. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much to all the panelists and our moderator. So it's time to call our guest of honor for tonight. Please welcome Christian K. Hawkins, U.S. Consul General, on stage, please.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Distinguished guests, representatives from Pakistan's textile sector, and members of the U.S. Cotton Delegation. I'm so pleased to have the opportunity to join you all here tonight. And it's really great to see such a good turnout tonight from Pakistan's textile sector. I'd especially like to welcome the U.S. Cotton Delegation here to Pakistan. We appreciate that you have taken time away from one of your busiest seasons to be here, and that demonstrates your strong commitment to Pakistan. The United States government is dedicated to expanding our ties with Pakistan to promote a stable and prosperous future for both of our countries. And this annual TEXtalk event plays a key role in strengthening those ties. Our commercial relationship remains healthy and robust. Bilateral trade topped $9 billion in 2022, and the United States was Pakistan's largest single country export market. And as everyone in this room knows, of course, the US cotton, Pakistan textile nexus is the foundation of our trading relationship. So I want to commend everyone here tonight for their role in making that relationship a success. Cotton is the top US export to Pakistan, reaching nearly $1 billion last year. And textile products are Pakistan's top export to the United States. This win-win trade arrangement greatly benefits both of our countries. So we remain committed to strengthening our relationship and working with international partners to help unlock economic and trade opportunities. The US-Pakistan Green Alliance Framework, for example, is promoting bilateral trade and investment in climate-smart agriculture commodities and eco-friendly products. So I was pleased tonight to hear the focus in the discussion on sustainability. Sustainably produced products are in high global demand. Retailers, brand owners, and consumers increasingly want to know how and where products are grown, processed, and transported. And the US Cotton Trust Protocol is a great example of efforts to increase sustainability and transparency. These efforts show US Cotton's commitment to supply chain transparency, science-based field level data, and high environmental and labor standards. So let me conclude by reiterating my sincere appreciation to the Pakistani textile industry presence tonight, because you are playing such an important role in making the US-Pakistan partnership so great. And thank you as well to TEXtalks for organizing this fantastic seminar. Every year, this event succeeds in further cementing US-Pakistan commercial linkages. So thank you all so much, and I hope you enjoy the networking dinner.
So now I'd like to request Ms. Christian to present awards to our sponsors. And so because of you guys, we are making this event a success. So please welcome a representative from Cotton Council International as our co-sponsor on the stage, please. Thank you so much. And now I would like to call from Cotton Incorporated as Platinum sponsor on the stage, please. Oriton as our Platinum sponsor. GIZ Pakistan as gold sponsor. Lucky Co Industries as gold sponsor. So thank you so much to our all sponsor. And now I would like to call Mr. William Kimball to come on stage and present a thank you shield to our Christian. Thank you so much, Christian, for taking out time to come here. Thank you so much, means a lot. So now the final address. And it's time to call the man behind this successful conference. Please welcome Yusuf Farid, organizer Aspiring Change.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I sincerely thank thank each one of you for being part of this change and joining us at the 6th Inspiring Change Conference and Text Meet 2023. ICC Inspiring Change Conference has expanded its boundaries through the support of its partner, and our main goal has always been to provide the textile industry with the one for all platform every year. This year's Text Meet is an effort parallel to ICC that aims to bring the textile industry together, from discussing business ideas to sustainable solutions. Text Meet has it all. A big thank you to all the sponsors for believing in this movement for this inspiring change. As this event comes to an end, I believe everyone was able to gather wisdom, innovation, innovative ideas, and most importantly, hope. The hope of moving forward despite all odds. We will see you all again, inshallah, with the next edition of Inspiring Change Conference and Text Meet in 2024. Thank you very much for all.
So once again, thank you everyone for coming here, or I hope you guys have enjoyed this time together. And now please, I would like to request you, please proceed for the dinner. Thank you so much.